We live, baby.
Do a countdown.
Hold on.
All right. Before we. Is your mic on?
What's up, Wanzo? I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
Let me get something to drink. Give me a little whiskey. Gotta slip slow with this. Gotta share a shot. Alright. Alright, we ready.
Alright.
We ready.
Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bust it.
Alright, you already know who it is, what it is, where it is.
What it do?
At the new year, you know what I'm saying? This is the first one of the year.
Hey.
Black Men and Cigars Podcast. Got Fear Coach in the building as usual.
We made it.
You ain't gonna introduce yourself?
You ain't gonna do your AKAs?
Man, I'm trying to start the new year off with, in a
Oh
different
no,
way.
you getting bougie this year. New year, new me.
I'm
Okay.
becoming the more conscious, man. I'm trying to cut out the silliness. No, I'm just bullshitting. But I just want to, do something a little bit different.
He's
this year.
smooth.
You know,
He
be a
came
little
in with
bit-
the jacket
You
on.
know, I'm just trying to let the women know, because I'm tired of women thinking I'm a player. You
I
know
see
what
him
I'm
pop. He popped the tag off too.
yeah,
Look, fresh.
tags off.
He got a fresh jacket.
in the pocket. He
Pop
sitting
the
in that
tag.
back on Amazon.
saying?
Put it back.
You know,
down.
so I do
Put
got to
it
get
back
it tailored, though. It's a little baggy.
down. Yeah, put your
it's a little
like you
baggy,
got shoulder
but-
pads on it. Fine, you gotta check yourself.
Yeah, facts.
That's a
facts.
2022 look, man.
All right, I guess
Hey,
it's
exactly.
Migo.
This is retro. What's coming
Migo
back?
lackluster introduction for himself. Come on,
Oh
now.
yeah, go ahead. Fear Coach the Migos in the building.
We got Migo in the building. We got big black 6'4". Don't call him 6'3". Migo in the building. You may have seen him on Instagram as a fearless black man. You may have seen him in your aunt's DM, but that's the past.
That was the old me.
Now
me.
this
I've
Migo
changed.
is
All right.
wholesome.
Yes.
Me, I'm more holding son.
Oh yeah. Roles have definitely reversed. Roles, and we're gonna talk about that. But go ahead, introduce yourself, Mark.
So yeah, and I am Mark Anthony. I am your
HR guy.
Yes, sir. Certified. We are. I'm your favorite IT recruiter.
Yeah, yes you are. He the one that don't call back after you don't get the job done.
I'm your favorite career coach.
You just gotta kind of.
You gonna get that
just
email.
gonna kind of guess like, oh, okay, well it's been
You
2
gonna get
weeks
that
now.
email.
I guess I ain't get that position.
The email coming. Just give
Yeah.
it about 30 to 90
Terrible
days.
recruiter.
All right, that's what's up, man.
And then we got the one and only. You know what I'm saying? The legend in the building.
Yes, sir.
What's that Dasaki's commercial dude? the most
interesting
interesting man
yeah.
in the south side of Atlanta. Rich is in the building.
Hey, yes, sir. Look, man, look, it's so good because I can come on here and give information and knowledge, but then also help people get jobs. Like if y'all around here, if y'all need IT, if you in the IT field, we got an IT recruiter.
I'm
over here.
I'm a black cloud engineer, and
I'm an IT recruiter and I do career coaching too.
So I'm over here, I'm gonna be looking for people that need IT jobs and come and make.
If you need any job, let me know. I can do the career coaching and resume building and all of that. But I got a couple of software engineer jobs for the people with the skills.
So y'all, I ain't just an information resource. I'm a job connector now.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. See, we in the building. See, Rich. See, a lot of people don't know. Me and Rich, we met back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We met on Robert's radio show. Yeah. And Rich was on, and P was on. And it was just big money talk on the radio show. I was like, oh, these shows out here came back. And this was when I was broke. Like I was doing my life coaching and I was Ubering. You know what I'm saying? I pulled up to the studio after doing the Uber job. So I was broke. So I always kept up with these brothers, him and Paul at the same time, and I just been following Rich. And I remember one summer I hit you. We're gonna talk about that. But one summer I hit you, I just wanted to go on that excursion, but I just forgot to follow up. But I just kept following Rich. But I was like, man, Rich, an interesting dude. Like he always got something going. I know you got your tax business is always booming, but you got so many other ventures that you invested in. You do a lot of philanthropic work. You do a lot of charity work, giving back to the community, and you do a lot of traveling.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, man, Rich a little extraordinaire over here, man. I was like, okay, I like Rich.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I was like, I like Rich, man. I was like, okay, Rich got some pizzazz. You know what I'm saying? I dug that. So that's one of the things that made me keep. And I'm gonna be honest. And I usually like a lot of dudes talk money, talk this and that and the third, and you can always kind of tell if a person is a snake oil salesman. You know what I'm saying? But Rich was just one of I follow, and I pay attention. I don't engage and comment a lot, but I always watch. You know what I'm saying? Always, Rich. Like, I watch every post you put up. But it's like, I was like, man, you know what? New year, man. I want to definitely, when you posted up, about you having done some prison time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay. That added even more integrity to your character. And so I was like, when me and Marcus figuring out the show this year, I was like, man, I'd love to have Rich on, man, just to talk about, not just the tax stuff, but more so to dive into, we're going to dive into some of your, being an investor in businesses, your travel. We're going to talk about quite a few things, but that all make you so interesting. You know what I'm saying? So,
speaking of interesting, can I get you to...
And you a light-skinned brother that don't act like a pretty boy.
I'm caramel, man.
Oh, here we go.
You say you what?
I'm caramel.
No, Migo think everybody lighter than him. Like,
y'all always...
I need you to do me a huge favor. What? I need you to press that little button to scoot your seat down a little bit. Oh, because your head.
All right.
There you go. You look normal now.
All right, yeah, man. It's just like, man. You don't act like a pretty boy. And I'm tired of y'all light skinned dudes who listen. If you not dark, if you not dark skinned, y'all.
Am I light
everybody either? You kind of brown skin, bro.
Okay, I had to make sure because he get in his mood sometimes where
it depends on what season. Because during the summer seasons, he get real black.
I tell people I'm the paper bag. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't light skinned, I ain't dark skinned. I'm that. I get no preferential treatment. If you like light skinned guys, I get nothing. If you like dark skinned guys, I get nothing. Like I get none of that. So you I ain't gonna lie, you kind of Derek Fisher-esque.
Yeah, that's that winter. Yeah. That's that winter. Oh, but don't. It's so crazy. Man, I used to drive my ex-wife crazy. Like, you don't look like no damn Derek Fisher. But I was like, well, why so many people say that? Every time we used to go to L.A. Like, evidently people think that because, like, I used to get that. I get Derek Fisher more than anybody. Just a better looking Derek Fisher. Yeah, But yeah, I definitely used to get that.
Derek Fisher was clutch though.
Yeah, that's me. But we talking about appearances though. Yeah,
now Derek Fisher was also stealing women, girls now.
That's me, but we talk about complexity and stuff.
That's right. All right, so I want to take it back a little bit, Rich. So I want to start off. So where you from originally, and what brought you to the city?
I'm originally from New Orleans, man.
For real?
Yeah. So I grew up in the Holly Grove area.
Holly Grove.
You was out there with the big timers.
You was in the trenches.
Yeah, I was in the trenches, and so. And I say that proudly, man, because I always said, definitely, if it wasn't for those skills, in situations, though, I wouldn't have been built the same. So, I do say Holly Grove proudly. But I've been in Atlanta now, almost 30 years, man. But I knew I was leaving New Orleans because, it's a great, fun place. It gave me a lot of fun foundation.
Is it fun, really?
People love New Orleans.
I'm saying, like, is it fun beyond? What is that called? I've never been.
Bourbon Street.
Yeah. Is it fun beyond Bourbon?
Yeah. It's and that's why I love it now because when I go back, I love showing people that's not from New Orleans now because what I've learned since I've moved, man, it's a different city. There's no city like New Orleans though because of the culture. It has a different music, a different food, a different language, a different everything that you don't find nowhere else. And it's called a Big Easy because it's just so laid back. And you can it's not too many places you can just walk the street with alcohol.
Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah, you can buy.
Nico grew up in Roswell. You can.
He disrespectful. First off, shout out to 704 Concord, North Carolina. But go ahead.
Carolina.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? The home of the
you got pushed out in Concord and then you moved to Roswell.
That's the same thing, huh?
No, I went to high school in Roswell, but on middle school and elementary school I lived on the south side. He just disrespectful.
Way south, close to Macon.
You said good south side.
But I always talk about because when I hear people talk about New Orleans, like I always wanted to go, always. And another thing, I always like New Orleans women. You know what I'm saying? Like I just like
That's interesting.
Because I like not only the twang, but a lot of them, they still Southern women. So they still have a lot of traditional Southern roots. Like they can cook, take care of a household, stuff like that. And I just like, they be down to earth. It's just that sometimes you can't trust them.
Bruh.
Like they always be up to some shit.
Now, I just say, you got to really understand, and we always say this from New Orleans, and based on what you said, there's New Orleans, and then there's Louisiana. And that's how we say, because New Orleans is built a little bit, the closest place probably to New Orleans is Baton Rouge. Other than that, we pretty much consider most of everything else country.
Oh, really?
So when you talk about the Southern roots, New Orleans, you ain't really talking about women cooking and cleaning it.
So the girls I'm talking about, they from Lake Charles.
See, outside of that,
the idea people got of New Orleans is like the idea people got of Vegas. You be like, if you're not from there, you like, what the? First of all, people that live there, and secondly, what the hell happens if you don't go there for the party aspect?
Yeah, but I don't like the people who never been always hear about the food.
Yeah, always.
They always hear about the food and Bourbon Street, the drink and the fun, that aspect of it. And so that's why people always want to go to try to, just because they hear about all of the fun stuff that goes on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
They hear about all of the good food. And like you said, so I think it's a little because people who never been to Vegas, they're like, I'm not a gambler, so I don't like Vegas. Why, Vegas don't appeal to me because I don't gamble. And so, but New Orleans is a little different because, like I said, I appreciate New Orleans more since I've left because I see the uniqueness in it. And so I love basically showing people because most people only see Bourbon Street in downtown when they go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
But when you go out to the lakefront and the river view and people see the water and all of those aspects, they be like, damn, I never knew this about New Orleans. I like this. You go to the Garden District and see the big pretty houses and those type of things, and so you get a different vibe when you go with somebody that's from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you recommend New Orleans women or Louisiana women?
Now the women are all the same in the sense of the beauty.
You just said one,
but I said the beauty though. Okay. You were talking about cooking and cleaning.
Yeah, because I'm not, like, you know what? Like, I just, man, because I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't know if it's something in that water, man, or something, but they be shaped the right way, man.
It's a beautiful thing when you talk about New Orleans as the women.
Yeah.
The personalities. It's some good women down there though. I think like with me, when I realized the other set of women when I went to Southern, when I left and went to Southern in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And I realized like so if I had to choose when you said Louisiana, I might have to go with Louisiana.
Okay.
Right. Because again, the humbleness of that and just that. So
like, are they like hustler? Because
before we go there, it's funny because like you remember when Katrina happened and everybody we was in high school stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was this big like nobody liked. I don't think we really felt too much about the women. Nobody liked the New Orleans guy.
Well, because remember when they came here, it was called the Deadly Summer. Remember, that's when the flood happened. New Orleans dudes started flooding Alabama and Atlanta.
Yeah,
and there was like a whole lot of murders going. But that's when drug dealing was like at its last.
We was in high school, so it wasn't like, and I was in Lithonia, so it wasn't like a shitload of murders happening in Lithonia.
Nah,
it's one thing to be
the home where it was safe.
It's one thing.
Don't you go outside. That's what that was. I was on the MARTA bus going on every side of town. So I saw a lot of things going. That's how I heard of the something.
You was like Nunu on ATL.
That's coming from the suburbs.
At home, you still went home at night. You still went home to sleep in your safe Roswellian bed.
But go ahead. What was your point about the?
The point was is interesting because I think that stigma stuck with people for a long time. Like, because it's one like I moved a lot, but it was me and my brother. It was two of us. We was always the new kids. But then you got new kids that's coming, and it's 20 of them. It's so now it's not just a new kid, it's new kids, it's a culture coming with them, and it was just so much, it was so tumultuous because it was almost like, you know how people, New York got this love-hate relationship with Atlanta, and they always be like, yo, this ain't New York, and it's that arrogance. That's kind of how a lot of people felt about guys from New Orleans, and so where were you during that time?
I was here. I've been here for 20-something years, so I was already here.
Did you ever see that?
Well, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a lot of people from Atlanta that was like, New Orleans folks need to go home because, all of this. And New Orleans people came up with a certain defensiveness because I already know, even before I lived here, I had that same mentality that Atlanta was bougie.
Really?
And that's the mentality we had, that Atlanta was bougie and we was kind of carefree in New Orleans. And so even when I moved here and I started listening to a lot of my friends, they would say certain things about Atlanta, and I'm like, bro, you really don't know because you looking from the outside in, you know, and so you really don't know it. It's because, you know, they'll talk about the clubs because New Orleans is very laid back. So you could go to New Orleans, you could go to a club and spend probably $10 to get in, $5 at some spots, and then you could get 3 drinks for $25. In Atlanta, you ain't getting no 3. That's hopefully 2. And so every time they came here, they've always seen Atlanta as like bougie. Everybody want to be something, and everybody want to be that, you know, bougie, and not keep it 100.
Black Hollywood.
Yeah, you know, and people never keep it 100. That was the mentality of the thinking at the time. So when they came here, it was already on the defensive. You know, and so when you had that, you know, I'm already displaced. You know, I'm leaving home, then I'm coming up here to people that's not welcoming me, and I'm displaced. So I'm already frustrated, and I have a perception about you already before I even met you.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why it was a lot of that really going on when people first came up here.
Yeah.
So you was down here during Freaknik era.
That's what sold me. That's what sold me right there.
That was the
Came for the weekend, stayed for a lifetime.
Yeah. That's what sold me
Disney
right there.
for him, boy.
I hear so much of that. A lot of men who was in college, especially during that time, they came down to Freaknik. They was like, bro, I'm moving down. And they relocated, and they
What was life after Freaknik for y'all? Like immediately after, how would that?
Oh, we're talking about when Campbell stopped it, or
when Freaknik stopped. For me, it was still good because what I loved about Atlanta from day one is just Atlanta had a business mindset. You know, so even though I was basically into things, I always had a business mindset, even in New Orleans, but it didn't provide me the environment for it in New Orleans. The beautiful thing about Atlanta created that environment and the people and the mindset. So even after Freaknik, it was like, all right, the party is over. Let's get the business now.
Party don't stop.
Yeah, you know, and so, but still Atlanta nightlife. So you went for Freaknik.
112?
Now they used to call me Mr. Visions.
Oh, you was a Visions.
Yeah, I used to do 112, but
they at the underground the whole time.
They used to call me Mr. Visions.
Mr. Visions.
But if anybody know the stories, yeah, we was wilder than Visions. But the thing about it is
they got some pictures of you on their website still.
Yeah, they before they tore it down, I had my own picture, man. Yeah, but you know, real estate was booming back then in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
The real estate, so everybody was eating big. You know, everybody was eating big, you know, and so that was the thing is that even when Freaknik transitioned, the club scene in Atlanta was still hot. Then the strip club scene started getting hot. So that's when Atlanta really started building, you know, its name behind the clubs and behind the strip clubs. You know, so Freaknik really got you introduced to Atlanta from an outsider and made some people stay.
That's interesting.
But then the nightlife of Atlanta, because there was no other city like Atlanta, man, in the country where people come from all around the world, you know, and I would say all around the United States, and come to visit, but then also move here. So that's why you always hear people say, "Well, I've been in Atlanta, I ain't meet nobody from here yet." Because you get people move from everywhere, and there's no other city that really does that. And so that's what made Atlanta so lovely, because you wasn't just dealing with the locals. You had a mindset of people from California, from Texas, from Louisiana, Houston, and even like the Midwest people were so liberal, man. Like they was so liberal. So to be a Southern
in the Midwest, they were liberal.
But because you're talking about Chicago,
some part.
You talking about like that Chicago, Detroit. You know those mentalities, and even California, they were liberal in the sense where their mind was so far expanded past the South. So when you start bringing all of those people here, Atlanta wasn't a true Southern city no more. Because it has so many people made up from everywhere else. So you was in the South in Atlanta, you was in Georgia, but you had people from Chicago, Detroit, Illinois, Indiana. All of those mindsets, California. So these people mindset was totally different than a Southern mindset. You know, and so that's why Atlanta kind of blew and blossomed so fast, because you had Southern living with a worldwide mindset.
And so it was like now everybody's not so concentrated on coming straight to Atlanta. They'll go to a Charlotte. They'll go to a Houston. They'll go to some of the other southern cities. Atlanta was really that southern city.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Even seeing the whole transition. It's funny because you know, I haven't been to a strip club this year so far, so I'm doing good.
We're on the 12 days.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is a thing.
I went last week on.
But seeing that Atlanta, you know how you said transition from Freaknik to the nightclub life, which then pumped up the strip club life. Like, just that transition of things, like, it's hard for me to have vision Atlanta ever not being the epicenter for strip clubs. I thought strip club was always the thing here, but again, you know, I didn't come of age until the late 2000s. You know, even though I've been here since '94. You know what I'm saying? But so let me ask you this: what did you graduate from Southern in?
Business management.
And so, what was you doing here in the when you was here during the Freaknik era? And you said that I know you mentioned real estate was booming. You know, during your Visions.
Well, even before that, during Visions time, I was in the real estate, and that's why we used to basically like I said, Atlanta was booming. Then the real estate part of it kicked in Atlanta, and everybody was making money until the market crashed. Gotcha. So that's what I was doing. But prior to that, I started off. I had a courier service and a janitorial service. I had a partner of mine.
Carrier service. Hold on.
One of the courier. Yeah.
Delivering like what, groceries or
no. See, the thing is, the thing is, y'all too young to know when they had couriers that had to deliver stuff because you couldn't. Like my targeted market was real estate, and real estate companies, real estate agents, and mortgage companies. And so back then, when scanning and emailing wasn't that popular, it used to have hard signatures. So that means the buyer would have to actually sign that paper. You would have to actually deliver it over because there was no scan and emails and and things to that extent back then. So couriers were big because couriers had to run all personal documents hands because they didn't want it back then. Technology and security wasn't what it was today, so you had a lot of personal information that had to go from hand to hand.
Could you imagine that?
It had to go from hand to hand.
Why you have a lawsuit that they trying to? I just take it across town. Why you out here? That's crazy.
So that was the thing.
Who put you in that mindset though to go from, coming from where you come from to say, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna take advantage of the carrier system and then I'm gonna get involved with the real estate system? Like, what did you have family members that was always pushing you towards
No, and the thing is basically I've always had basically a business mentality. The longest I've ever had a regular job was 11 months. I've never worked a job a whole year.
It was Wendy's, wasn't it?
No, it was Hardee's.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, it was Hardee's.
I was like, how Hardee's is still open today? I was like, man,
Hardee's had good product though, man.
Today that's got to be a what's that laundering? That's got to be a laundering front. I don't know.
But I always had that mentality, and the thing is that I always said, New Orleans put it in me, Atlanta brought it out me. Because I had it in me in New Orleans, but you just didn't have the examples. You didn't have the environment to really help you manifest whatever skills you had. I was always a hustler. I was always thinking of business stuff. I was always into something, be it good or bad. Yeah. But when I got to Atlanta and I started getting around people because when I first got to Atlanta, I used to call home and it always was, but just guess who got arrested? Guess who got shot? Guess who died? Damn. But you come to Atlanta, and Atlanta was, when you meet somebody, man, I'm about to buy this house. I'm about to start a business. I'm about to go back to school. Yeah. So it basically puts you in an environment where you had to step your game up. And I always tell a story of, like, when I came from New Orleans, I had a Cutlass on Trues and Vogue. And so I thought I was killing the game. I thought
that was a hot call tonight. What you talking about?
I thought I was killing the game, but I remember meeting, man, with one of my cats. Yeah. And he pulled up in a Benz. And he said, we waiting on my boy, man. He said, when my boy come, we gonna roll out, go to this spot, sit down, talk. His boy rolled up in a Lexus. Ooh. At that point, the next time I met, I parked my shit around the corner. Because it basically showed me like I was ghetto fabulous. Because now they been and now I
Trues and Vogues that's Bun B in them.
But basically you hood rich. Back then you was hood rich. Like people wasn't driving Benzes and Lexus, not doing legal shit.
Facts.
And so it really made me realize, like, I have this term, I say you got to be motivationally uncomfortable.
I love that.
So you got to get around people that's going to make you uncomfortable, but it's gonna motivate you to want more. And that's basically what it was with me. Like I got around those people, man, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta step my game up. Cats around here doing it. They doing it, and so it motivated me. You gonna either run from it or it's gonna motivate you.
Big Bart talked about that all the time. Your proximity of your friends, and it's crazy because when you were growing up, especially us, in high school, they should tell us, look at the people, your best 5 friends around you. That's who you're gonna become in 10 years or whatever. You take it for granted, you know what I'm saying? Because you always think you can just overcome anything, can't nothing, But as we grew up and you learn and you develop, that is true. You end up usually becoming not maybe imitating exactly who they are, but you're imitating the mindset.
Yeah.
So it is important to get yourself, and this doesn't mean dump your friends who are not up to speed, because you can compartmentalize. What I'm saying? You can have your hood friends here and your business friends here and your kind of in the middle friends. So, but it is important to, like you said, I'm trying to just goddamn that.
I was looking at
it. You can kill your you can have your It's important to have people that you can at least look to in times of getting that motivation, getting that education, getting those ideas to reach outside your box. Because, like you said, you're never going to grow from a place of comfort. Never. But as soon as you get to that point where you're willing to fight with that discomfort, to be up late at night studying or practicing or training for something when nobody tells you to do it, putting in that work, it does manifest into a fruitful outcome. Me and Mark talk about this all the time last year, because last year was the first time we hit six figures.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but we hit it together. But we always push each other, and we got friends around, and we got mentors around that's always leaned on us as well to push. So it's like everything you just said is on point. You have to, if you don't like where you currently are, look who you're currently around and what you're always constantly doing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta switch it up. So
that's something I applaud Migo on. Like I'm a social person, much more social than Migo. Migo does a good job at connecting with people and staying connected, in person, on social media, and all of that. So I just take his friends and
that's what you do. Use his resources. But the thing is, though, you know your role. It's okay. It's okay. Like I have another business, and my business partner is a techie.
Oh, okay.
Whenever we do photos or whatever, he like, Brian, you could go. If you want to do it, if anything that we have to speak on, he's like, man, you could go. You could go. He don't want to do none of that. He don't want to do none of that. I always say he's the smartest cat I know. Yeah. But he don't want to be in front of no cameras. He don't want to talk to nobody. Yeah. And that's okay, because you got to know your roles.
Facts.
You got to know your roles. And so like I think that was just on Will Smith book I was just listening to, and his dad was saying,
how far are you in the book?
I'm probably just in the first part.
All right, go ahead.
Just got
happy he done read the book 3 times.
But when he said if you have 2 leaders, you have none.
That was his dad.
He said you got what?
Dad said that if you have 2 leaders, you have none.
Got you.
And so
what did Dad say? 99% isn't 100% complete.
99% is not 100% complete. But that's bad. But that people don't realize how powerful those 2 things are.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay to let somebody take the lead. One of the things that I admire about, I don't know if y'all familiar with E.T. Eric Thomas. Yeah. So I rock with E.T. them sometime. And pretty much his whole team and CJ and all of them, they're my clients. And so what I like about it is CJ is a powerhouse.
Okay.
CJ is a powerhouse himself, and they're business partners. But CJ realized what E was.
The brand.
And he stepped back. And like, I'm going to be behind the scenes and make sure we as a team shine, even though E is the man.
Love it.
And they made a conscious decision like, well, look, bro, I'm going to make sure E got CJ off his job. Like, bro, I need you to be my partner to do this. But CJ ain't trip on, well, I need to be up front like you. Everybody know E.T.
Yeah.
But he wasn't tripping. He's like, bro, I'm a brander. I'm an organizer. That's what I do. E is the number 1 motivational speaker. He's on the flyers, but they don't trip on that because he know where he's at. And the sooner we get that and we understand who we are, we gonna be much better as people, man.
That's why I always say that's that why African proverb, a man can go a man can go what is it, fast by himself.
You don't watch my my Tuesday lives.
You can go live. Yeah, you want to go farther. If you want to go faster, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together.
Yeah, right. So that's the. So let me ask you this though, Rich. What made you? Because I know it's a lot of men and women who watch podcasts too, black men, black women, who watch this and they go, well, how can I break free from my friends who aren't? Because they're, the people that's listening, they watch the Eric Thompsons. You know what I'm saying? They watch the motivational speakers, the Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardones, X, Y, and Z, the U's. You know what I'm saying? They follow. And they just like, but they don't want to be disloyal or seem like they acting brand new, and just all of a sudden cut their friends off. So how did you make that transition from putting distance between those who had the thinkings of a type of future that you didn't want, and grab it and start and how did you also build your winner circles?
The first thing I did was I let people cut themselves. Most people gonna cut themselves off. Like people who like everything with me. If I cut you off, it's usually because of your character. So and when I say that, usually if I find out you a user in a sense. So say for instance you my boy, but you borrow from me a couple of times. You make no attempt to pay me back because you think I got it.
Right.
I got it. He don't really need it. Right. At that point, that's a testament to your character. You don't truly believe in our friendship like that. So then I gotta let you go because you're gonna be a problem somewhere down the line. And then what we have to realize too is that everybody's not gonna be you. So I got like my number one dog is really not about business. But he's my dog. But I gotta understand his place. Now we talk women, we talk sports. That's who I'm talking with. We rapping, we going out, but when it comes to business, he's not that friend.
Yeah.
So I got another set of friends for that. So you don't necessarily have to cut people off. Yeah. And sometimes what we have to realize, even though we say, well, our people don't support us like they should, what he does, you're going to see him in an LB hoodie. You're going to see him in an LB hat. When he going out, he if we go to cookhouse parties, he got some of my paraphernalia on.
Without you having to ask.
Yeah, without me having to ask, and so that's still support because what we have to understand is our friends signed up to be friends, not our marketing director.
I love that.
I can't say, well, I'm gonna cut him off because he don't be out promoting my book. He don't really do social media like that. So even if he does, if he do social media and he not promote me every day, I can't. Well, he should be pushing. No, he's not my marketing director. He's my friend.
Yep. And
he's my friend, and so we do have to understand that though, that people don't sign up necessarily to be our marketing directors, to be part of the team. They signed up to be our friend. If we can get everything else, if we can get everything else out of them, that's love.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's love.
I think so many people put so many.
Hold on, I need you to move over a little bit. Yeah,
I think so many people put so much unfair expectations on family and friends to be there. They want family and friends to be there, not only their business admin team, but also to be their main customer base. And I just think that's one, not fair, and two, that's not even good business.
And people take it as you not supporting them.
Right.
Yeah.
And your family wants you to do well.
Right. That's
sometimes for selfish reasons, but they still want you to do well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we're just saying, like you shouldn't always be trying to look towards, you gotta go if you want something. You gotta go out and build it,
regardless.
Right? And not get. You gotta build. It's in business. You have to build value for the market to believe that you're serious about business. It's not when you're trying to convince. You're not going to survive off of just support
of your family.
Yeah, you can't. It's unfair and it's not realistic. It's not even going to show you what's the strengths and weaknesses of your own business. Yeah, right?
And what we have to understand too is the fact when we have certain things, because if you have a book, now I can buy your book just because I buy it, but if your book is basically Pimp Lenny takes over, Buckhead. I may not be into those type of books. Right. So for me not to buy your book, so why would you really want me to buy your book? Knowing that I don't like those kind of books.
Right, man, I'm glad you said that.
And so this is why I say, so it's selfish of you to say, well, you didn't even buy my book.
Yeah.
But I don't read those kind of books.
Facts.
So for you to want me to buy something that I really don't utilize, then that's kind of selfish of you. So we got to understand it's all situational.
Right.
That's the thing about it. It's all situational. Now, what I do say is we got to do a better job of not putting people down. That's family and friends. You don't necessarily have to support me, but don't shit on me.
Gotcha.
And that's the problem most of the time. So when I do like a lot of my speaking at some of my seminars, especially my young people, what I do is I give them a Kleenex.
A Kleenex?
And they be like, why? What's this Kleenex for? I said, because I want you to wipe the tears away now. I said, because as you start to grow and get in your business and get successful, people gonna say shit about you, and it's gonna be usually a family member, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a brother, a sister, a mama, a daddy, a A1 from day one. It happens to everybody. It happens. So what I try to do is get you prepared for it now when it don't even happen. So when it happens, you just go keep on rolling. And so that's what I say. We just got to do a better job. If you don't have nothing good to say about my business, and you're not gonna purchase from me or buy from me or support me or put me on social media, just don't say nothing bad.
We got to stop giving people these honorary positions. Where we say, oh, you are this title, so you have to, because like you saying, that go through a whole therapeutic process too, because your family's supposed to, your friends are supposed to, and you gotta, some unlearning you gotta do. And it took me a while to get to that. I had to go to therapy to start getting into the mind state that these titles don't entitle them to these certain positions in my life.
And so Rich, I want to ask you this, and it's what would you say was the lowest point that you had reached in your business, and how did you find yourself over? Like, where did you get the moxie from to fight through it and overcome it?
That's one of the hardest questions for me.
All right,
and I'm gonna tell you why it's one of the hardest questions for me, because I'm a half full type of dude.
I like that energy.
I'm a half.
We already here.
I'm a half full type of dude. So when you
pessimistic,
when you talk about
that's half full.
When you talk about low points and stuff, I look at everything as a challenge. So even if it's low, I didn't even know, because my thing is how I'm gonna fight from this. And I would say probably in business, I think early on, like when I first started. It's really probably, I started my tax business at 26. I transitioned from my courier business to the tax business. And I think what was frustrating for me probably then is being 26 years old, trying to talk to adults who didn't respect me. Because at 26, you're talking taxes, finance to people that's older, and they like, this young cat, no. And I'm like, I'm even thinking at 26, I'm a beast in this. I'm like, I had that federal government training where I was able to sit down and really
certified.
Basically learn this stuff, but wasn't getting the opportunity to talk to older people. So I think that was probably one of the more frustrating parts. And this is why I say it, and I tell young people now, become a beast at what you do. Because see, at 26, I was like, I'm gonna learn this shit inside out. So 27, 28, when I talk to older people and I start talking, they be like, damn, like my person don't even tell me that. And that was my goal, to really just become a beast in the business, to make you respect me. And so if I had to say any low points, realistic, that's probably it. But I've never really had, and I ain't gonna say I never had, the way I look at things, I didn't recognize.
I heard some, because I always say, like, everybody has this, I'm gonna manifest $1 million, right? Would you say you've touched like $1 million in your business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it, because I remember you saying that back on Robert's.
You got kids?
Huh?
You got kids by chance?
One that I know of.
You better stop. They be out here. Migo be like, yeah, man, we both hit 6 figures. I ain't got nothing.
But know what? I'm fighting to get my daughter. Like, my daughter's in my life. We sit down, we eat, we talk. But I'm really trying to get her to see the vision of the position that she's in. So when you talking about touch $1 million, I've touched $1 million a few times. And the thing about it is, I wasn't as smart as I was back then. When we talk about back in the day when Atlanta was bumping with the real estate, it was, everybody was touching $1 million back then.
I'm envious of that too.
Hold on. Because I bring that. Now here's why I bring it up. Because I feel like most people who, and this is how they set themselves up for failure, and this is why they turn away from entrepreneurship, because they try for a few weeks and it's not producing all these Instagram shareable results. Excuse me, my bad. They say it's not for me. So what I'm saying is, what is the realistic, what does it really take for, and you don't have to do step by step, but what does it take for a person to have a business that leads up to them being able to touch $1 million? Because they have these unrealistic, they think they're going to manifest it. And I'm like, you got to understand, with $1 million, with earning, I'm like, most people don't even want the problems that come with touching $1 million. You're talking about having to hire multiple people, pay them a livable wage, pay taxes on that, pay for software services, licensing fees, deal with chargeback. I'm like, you don't want to, most people don't have the brain capacity to want to deal with that, the stress capacity to want to deal with that. You know, so tell us what that life is really like, getting up there to touch that $1 million.
Well, you said one of them. The two main things is, first of all, mindset. You got to have a mindset to want that. And I tell people, anything I tell you, anything that I say, I tell you fact check. I don't have a problem with nobody fact checking, question people I know, looking in books, whatever you want to do. You know, you can fact check anything I tell you. But that whole mindset, they'll tell you, in my early 20s, I had a partner and that I used to wild out with when we were in the real estate and everything, that all we talked about was getting planes and jets. That's our mindset. That we wanted a plane. We wanted a jet. We wanted islands. You know, that was the thing. We wanted islands. Yeah. So mindset is the first thing. You gotta want that. And so now I talk about that a lot. My man George, one of my mentees, he talk about it being intentional. And see, the thing is, if you're not intentional about making $1 million, you'll never see $1 million.
You gotta move over.
Yeah, you'll never see $1 million if you're not intentional. So if that's not your mindset, because if I'm talking about buying planes and jets and islands, that might be a $10 million thing. But if I fall short of $10 million, I might just make $1 million. You know, and so said, like, some people, they don't think that because they don't want the problem. You know, my thing is, I don't want the problems of being broke. I don't want the problems of not manifesting the life that I desire. You know, and so that's why we never do it. The second part of that is the grind. I say this every week. I say this every week. People have $100 grind with $1 million mindset. And so you gotta basically you gotta basically have a grind. If you think about everybody that's super successful, and this is what we talked about. And I had this conversation. This was from listening to one of Kobe books. The thing about it is that
I love that you keep dropping these books. You know, they gotta learn that too. You have to become a learner.
Well, yeah, that's part of it as well. You gotta learn from people that actually made $1 million. You can't talk to nobody who only made 100,000 and ask them how you make $1 million. And that's what's happening right now. We'll get into that. But when I say that to say with Kobe, you know, it's one of those mentalities when you're talking about grinding, you'll never have balance. See, millionaire, becoming a millionaire.
I love that you said
becoming a millionaire is you ain't gonna have balance.
I love that you said that.
So you're gonna have to, if you're in a relationship, you probably gonna have to find somebody who truly understands. This is why you see 90% of the time when people go to the Hall of Fame and do all these things, and the first thing they say, "Well, I knew I wasn't there for your basketball games. I knew I wasn't there for your foot." You can't be a Hall of Famer and home at 7 o'clock. So I can't be at home at 7 o'clock for the dinner and be a Hall of Famer.
Shannon Sharp did say that.
Said he apologized.
But just like even before Shannon Sharp, you know, this has been said so many times that you ain't gonna do it. And I can honestly say I probably lost my marriage along the way because of that. You know, because of that. Because I know for a fact I was a hell of a provider, but I probably wasn't a hell of a husband. You know, and
that's something you and Mark also have in common.
Yeah,
because Mark is recently divorced.
Okay, right?
And so me and Mark have talked
Mark
about
looking at you like,
no, we don't talk about this on the episode.
We 6 podcasts in and talking about that. But he one of the things what I want, because this is a spot that is vital. I really want the black men watching. I refer to them as black guys, of course, but I want them before they commit to a black goddess, that they choose one that's based on the vision that they want for the future, versus choosing one that you just, that you just like based on either looks, vanity, or this family type, that she balances me out. You have to choose one that's best for the vision of you're going in your future, because otherwise, when that future starts to arise, you're going to clash with that partner because the ideas are different. They didn't see themselves being home this much alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, most women aren't really, especially most new age women, aren't really built that way. They're like, well, if you're going to be out, I'm going to be out. Yeah. So, I want you to kind of speak toward that when it comes to how important it is when you're an ambitious man. Now, if you're not that ambitious, it's cool that, you can do the balance thing with your wife. She take care of half responsibilities, you do half. But talk about that being an ambitious man, what it takes to choose the right woman.
But I talk with my mentees about this. A lot of my mentees who get married young, about to get married at 25, and I talk to them. I say, bruh, y'all gotta have the conversation. I say, let me tell you something. I say, because who you are at 25, you're not gonna be at 30. So right now we love, like I tell people, like at 25, both of us like to go out. Both of us like to smoke weed. Both of us like to hang. At 30, I don't want to smoke no more weed. I don't want to hang out no more. You still into that.
Facts.
We gonna clash.
Facts.
So you gotta have the conversations and say where you want to be in 5 years, where you want to be in 10 years. I want to start my own business. Because the thing is that once we both working 9 to 5s and the money's is coming in, and then I decide 5 years later, 10 years later, I want to start my business, I'm not getting a check every Friday. And so now it's like, well, Baker, we used to do this and we used to do that, and you need to just go get a job because, and now you didn't kill my dream. So now we didn't got hurt. And it's on both sides. I'm not just saying. So now what happens is it's a dream deferred. So I didn't put my dream on hold.
And resentment.
You're happy now because I got a job. And I'm at home with
every
you.
night, 7 o'clock on the
But I'm miserable because why? My dream is not manifesting. This was my dream, especially if my dream was my passion.
So let me ask you this, because I see often, everybody want to be an entrepreneur, but you pair that with what we just talked about, where they got these $1 million goals, but really like a $10 vision, and so people
$10 ambition, work ethic,
that too.
Yeah,
and so what ends up happening is like, I'm one of 4 on my mom's side. None of them like a boss, if you will. None of them like, nobody want to work for nobody, but everybody want to be their own, but they don't have that drive and ambition, right?
Yeah.
So what do you say to those people we in Atlanta, man, it's the heart of entrepreneurship. An idea.
Big cap city.
Yeah. See, the issue is that sometimes you can't tell those people that. I have to tell them. See, I have to tell them.
You the bad guy.
Yeah, I have to tell them because see, the thing is, most of the time, people in your circle see you as them. So they figure if they can't do it, you can't do it.
Big facts.
So it got to be done first.
Yep.
It got to be done first in order for them to believe. But if you along the way, you trying to tell them like, man, you got to grind. You got to do this. They not listening to you because, man, you grew up with us. You don't have it in you like that. Man. But if I tell them, then they listen to me. That's just like a child. What most parents say, my child ain't going to listen to me, but they'll listen to them.
Right.
Adults the same way.
Big facts.
Adults the same way. So you can tell people in your circle they need to do this. They need to work harder. They need to work long. They need to grind. They need to put in 40 hours. 40 hours is 40 years ago. Ain't nobody getting rich off 40 hours no more. And so
hey, for real.
So now it's got to be somebody from the outside. People listen to people from the outside more than they listen from you directly until you made it. Like people will listen to me now. They'll listen to me because they see the manifestation of the success.
Yeah.
But along the way, I'm telling people like, oh, okay. You know, well, why are you driving this or why are you driving that? You know, and it was crazy because I remember a long time ago, man, this is when I still had my Ford Explorer. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing about it is I had 3 locations. Mm. I had 3 locations. I was still driving my Explorer. And we had went back to Holly Grove.
I had a Ford Explorer too. I had a 97 big blue.
But me and you were rocking that.
But did you also have a Nissan Altima?
Nah, I ain't no Nissan. I ain't had no Nissan. Now. But yeah, I went back through Holly Grove and I was with one of my partners on. We was going past by the park. Yeah. And we were talking about that. He said, B, them niggas ain't gonna respect you pulling up in that. Mm. He said, yeah, you need to pull up. He said you could have $1 million in the bank. He said, even though, you know, you doing well. Yeah. He said, but what you're driving, yeah, and that's our mentality. You know, is basically we believe that you gotta show those things in order to have it, and that's why people have that mindset. If you ain't if you ain't driving this or you ain't driving that, and that's why I say when I got my first Benz, I was like, wow, this is crazy, the respect that you get. Yeah. I used to tell people all the time, I don't have to say a word. Mm. I can roll up. Like I remember my mentee Rob Wilson. Mm. You know, Rob told me one time when I had the first Benz, I had a S500, and I had it on some 20-inch Lowenharts. Mm. So it was crushing. Mm-hmm. And so I would pull up. So I remember leaving one day, and Rob say he just stopped me, and I didn't even know him at the time that well. Yeah. And he just stopped me, and he rolled down his window, and he just looked at me. He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I could pull up, and I don't have to say a word." Mm. And he just drove off. And he said, "Okay." Mm. But this is how we think. If I don't pull up in a Benz, then I must not be doing it.
That's my gripe about Atlanta, though. Like in the city, like man, it's the most biggest flexing city in the country, especially when it comes to the black culture. Like we had Chevy Brooks on here, who he's an economics background. He's a teacher now. He was running for city council. And he was breaking down the HUD numbers, and HUD was reporting that the average earning of blacks in the metro city of Atlanta, earning on average is $26,000. Yeah. But if you go outside, you know what I'm saying, you go drive around Buckhead or downtown Boogaloos, you look outside, you see all these foreigns, you see all these designer clothes. It don't look like that. But it's like, but this city, the emphasis is so much on flex. I was talking to my other mentor, and we were both talking, and I was just telling him, like, man, me and Mark, like I said, doing great. But it's like, you would, living in a city like Atlanta, because we don't flex like that, you would think it makes you feel like you ain't even doing nothing.
Coming soon.
Yeah, in a sense. But what I say is, I tell people the first thing is, I think people have Atlanta misconstrued in that sense. The reason why Atlanta gets such a bad rap, because Atlanta's on the national stage more than any. Name me another city that's like Atlanta.
What did you say?
Closest thing you got is Houston. Closest thing, but it's not the
Houston ain't close.
It's right, but that's the closest. Yeah, you ain't nothing in terms of black presence.
When you talk about black people and success, Houston ain't close to that. Houston basically have more of a work mindset. Mm-hmm. I had an office basically in Houston for 13 years. Mm. You know, and Houston has more of. But no, I was gonna say LA, but see, LA is transitioned. When you talking about the number of black people, LA was that kind of city where everybody was a producer, everybody was in the movies. But now, when you talk about black people, there's no other city that have as many black people as Atlanta. So Atlanta's gonna get that rap. And I say that to say it's not Atlanta, it's black people. Mm-hmm. You can go to any city. You can go to Houston, LA, Dallas. If you go into
Charlotte, but the
Charlotte, you go into those communities, you're going to see the same thing. You go into the club, you're going to see a line full of people going into the club, black people. And I guarantee you check those same people in Charlotte in that line, that's waiting in line with the Louis boots and the bag and all that. You check their money.
Man, I tell this story. It's funny you said that. That's a point I didn't think about. You're dead up, because I tell this story to a few friends. Mark, I think you know the story too. I was dating a chick out in Charlotte, and this chick, I went to her crib. Oh yeah. She went in her closet, pulled off designer this, foreign designer that, bag, clothes, all that.
What, she had a Porsche?
Go to a garage. She had a GMC truck, a little older than mine, GMC truck, Porsche. Now the Porsche that one of the tires was gone, but Porsche. Like I'm thinking you would think you walk into this chick body crazy. You think this chick like paid? Mm-hmm. Man, 2 weeks later, man, she needed like what, $63 for her water bill.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and she was telling me how much she actually made. you know, and then tell me how she was literally living at her budget, her income budget every month, bro.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're right, it's a black cultural thing, but it's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy, but we've always had a challenge mentality. And the problem with it is we can't go back. See, the thing is once you start flossing and you get to that point when things change in your life, you get laid off, your business not doing well, I still got to have that because I can't let nobody know.
Yep.
I can't let nobody know. So we not going back. We not changing. So this is why you find that people are not doing it like they used to, but they still trying to because we don't want nobody to know we fell off. So and it happens because life, you know, you got life shifts, man, with COVID and all these things. Yeah. All these people, a lot of people life shift.
Hell yeah, them PPPs drying up.
Yeah. And so, but they still got to believe that they got to do that because nobody wants nobody to believe that they're doing bad. And that was basically like when the housing market first crashed. Yeah. Like, it was so embarrassing for people to come in my office and tell me they lost their house. But then when you come to find out everybody started losing their house and everybody started foreclosing, it was like people coming in before they even sign in. I lost my house. Damn. You know, because it wasn't no big thing no more because everybody was doing it. Yeah. And so I think when we get over the stigma that it's okay, then we're going to start helping. Because, see, you can't help nothing that you're in denial with.
I love that.
So I can't help your finances. I can't help you with your finances if you constantly telling me, oh, I'm good. I'm good, you know. So if I'm thinking you good, then I'm going to leave it alone.
Damn.
You know, and so we got to get out of that denial. We got to get out of that denial, man.
So you're doing great. You're dropping so many gems. We're going to have so many cuts from this. But so I want to walk it back a little bit because you made a post and we talked about it a little bit before about the prison post, and I think that's important because there's a lot of black men, again, they come from circumstances that's imperfect, you know what I'm saying, and they feel like since they have, you know, a record, you know what I'm saying, they be arguing with their lady like, who, they ain't gonna hire me, they ain't gonna give me a chance, or even if they got a business, you know, they ain't them folks ain't gonna want to do contract with me X, Y, and Z because of my background, you know. How did when you went to prison, can you talk about what you went there for?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I made peace with the IRS, so I'm good.
I love that. All right, cool. So can you talk about what you went there for, and then your experience being there? Well, experience being there, and then how did you overcome all that?
Inside and out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, basically, I was, you know, I always looked at it as a blessing, though, to be honest with you. You know, and even when I went, I said, I used to joke, you know, you can ask my ex-wife, you can ask anybody. I said, well, I'm about to go to grad school. You know, I'm about to go to grad school. And I never was big. It wasn't no big thing to me, you know, and this is the mindset. And this is why I say, for the most part, people don't really understand the hood thinking. Because even as smart as I was still doing shit that could have easily got me more time, could have got me arrested much earlier. So my mindset was I never really was surprised if I went to jail.
So you know, when you was in Visions, you was with BMF. That's what you.
No, BMF actually ran me out of the section one time. One time they moved me out of Visions, and I was like, "Oh, why I gotta move?" And then later that night, that's when I realized who BMF was. I came about 30 days, so they had to give my section to BMF. Yeah, you know. But the thing is that, you know, prior to that, I was dabbling in the streets, though. And this is why I say,
pocket full of stones.
You know, basically, a product of your environment is a real thing.
Facts.
You know, because what we looked at a lot of times, a lot of the things that we were doing in the streets, we just looked at it as that's what we do because everybody around you did. We really didn't think about the consequences of it. Now that I look back and I know better, but at that time, you know, this was things. I come from environments. I come from people that was in my family. I come from people that was really in positions of massive success and authority in New Orleans. So it was easy for me to connect. You know, but again, I didn't realize because this is what people was doing. And no, that wasn't why I was called Polo Jupe. You know, I wasn't, because I was Polo from head to toe, you know, and so.
But you was a walking stereotype.
But again, you basically you get caught up in those things. But the thing was, I was savvy enough to be a product of my expectations and not my product of my environment. See, your expectations is the thing that's gonna get you out. Because see, my expectations of who I was and what I wanted was always great.
Gotcha.
Was always great. I knew I wanted to be rich. I knew I wanted to be out of the hood. I knew I wanted. So my expectations was the thing that kept me grinding to have a better life. Most people don't have in the hood expectations. Yeah. So all they know is environment. They're gonna be a product of that environment because that's all they know. I was blessed to have a dad who lived in California, so I was able to get out and see other things. Gotcha. And I think that helped my mind open a little bit. You know, exposure, so I think that exposure helped me a little bit. So I knew when I got to a certain point, I probably got to a point where I wasn't as involved, but I was more of an instigator. You know, and so I was
got you for conspiracy.
I was that dude that did the homework. You know, I did mine, but then I egg everybody else on, and y'all get in trouble. And but I caught a conspiracy case. You know, and really not.
Guess the hell out of that.
But not actually. This was I caught a conspiracy case on some blue collar stuff. I mean, some white collar stuff. So I said I'll take that because I knew I was into other things early on in my life that I never paid the price for.
So did you plea out or did you fight it?
No, I damn near plead out because I got a public defender.
Oh damn! So I was fighting that. So you should fight in the feds or
the feds? Yeah.
With a public defender.
So I basically plead. It was the same thing.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, because with him, because he do. I would have did better defending myself. You know, and so, but thing is, but I wouldn't turn evidence on my best friend at the time, and that's why they really called themselves punishing me. Wow. You know, but the thing was, when I went in as this is gonna be a blessing. Like I'm gonna learn, man. I'm a, and that's basically what it was. That's why I said before I was going, I said I'm going to grad school. You know, I'm going to grad school.
Is how long, Mark?
2 years.
Yeah, and so when I went, I did a total of 15 months.
Okay.
You know, I did a total of, but
I heard that 15.
It was the perfect 15 months that I did because that's where I learned taxes at.
Really?
Yeah.
In prison.
Yeah, in prison.
But you seen Shawshank?
Yeah.
Hold on. How did what was this in Georgia?
It was in Florida.
And you learned to do taxes in prison? Who was teaching this?
Actually, my mentor, man, like my man Greg, you know, Greg, I ain't gonna even say his last name, but Greg basically, and I always say that it was all God planned, brother. Everything manifests, you know. So when I went, I actually had the courier business and the janitorial business. And the way it really manifested is one of my mans, basically my partner who did the taxes, he sent me the taxes while I was in there to review or sign or something. And when I saw him, I wasn't happy with what he had done because I told him to do a couple of things that he didn't do. So I started asking a couple of people, did they know somebody? So one cat turned me down. You know, he was like, nah, man, I ain't really messing with that. So somebody turned me on to this other cat. So when they turned me on to Greg looked it over. You know, he was looking. He was like, you know, he saw my interest in it. He was like, you want to learn this? I said, yeah. You know, and so every day, but I would have my, you know, she wasn't my wife then. I would have her send me the paperwork, you know, just like copies of 1040s and stuff, and the books, and she would just send that. And every day, Greg would sit down with me. I would go to the library, get books, and just learn, you know. And so eventually, like I said, I just started getting to a point where, like, man, this is me. Everything about this is continuous learning. I love learning. I love numbers. You know, I work with, you know, I love interacting with people. I love helping people. And when Greg was like, bro, he said, B, I'm going to tell you something about this. He said, when you master this business, you're going to become a god to people. He said, because you helping them, you getting them more money, you saving them money. People love that aspect of it, and that basically that just made me want to master it even more. You know, and so
how long did it take you to get it to a point where you were good enough to where you could look at other people's?
Yeah, when I came out, I had to go to the halfway house.
Okay.
So I came to the halfway house in Atlanta. So that's when I started marketing. I had to take a job at Subway.
Okay.
You know, I was in Subway passing out business cards. It was right across the street from the half.
You serving sandwiches and marketing your
business? Yeah, I'm catching people. If I feel like I can talk to you on that level, if I feel like you was in line, one thing about me, I've always been
a hustler.
I've been charismatic in that sense where I can talk to people. Plus, I've always had a personality and a persona to where even if I did bad, after you talk to me, you're like, damn, this cat really ain't bad. And that's why I tell people, sometimes you do bad things don't mean you're a bad person.
So what happened with your businesses while you were in?
My partner kept running the businesses. Yeah, so
that wasn't an opportunity that you could have went back to?
No, because they don't want you working for yourself. Because, see, when you're in the halfway house, that's still considered prison. You know, but you have a little bit leeway. But they wouldn't, because you got too much freedom then.
Gotcha.
You got to be back in a certain time. Plus, you got to pay the halfway house percentage of what you work. You got to force. So, you know, if I'm working my own business, I'm putting my own numbers.
Gotcha.
You know, and so those aspects, man. But like I say, it was a blessing because of that. But not only that, and I think the one thing that Greg told me one day, and I always say this probably changed my whole life, man. And this is why I say people need a mentor, somebody that's gonna check you and keep it 100. And people know, if you work with me, if you deal, I'm gonna give you. You might not like what I say and how I say it, but you're gonna respect it. You know. And we were walking one day, and I was talking about doing something. He said, "B, you got to stop thinking all that mom and pop shit, man."
Hold on, who told you that? Your mentor?
The mentor, the guy who taught me the taxes. He said, "You got to stop thinking mom and pop shit." You know, and he kind of broke it down. And after that, my whole vision was like, if I could get 1 tax office, why not get 5? If I could get 5, why not get 10? Because when he hit me with that, you know, you got to stop thinking mom and pop. And I'm like, okay, why am I thinking small? When it's no cost to think big.
At all.
Ain't gonna cost me nothing. You know, and I've already had it basically prior to that because I already thought about the things I wanted. After that, my whole process had changed now because you challenged me on that. I can't go back to thinking small. And the beautiful thing is, a mind expanded could never go back to its original state.
That's a fact.
So when you've done things and been places, you can't go back to it. You basically, you can't give me some blueberry ice cream and then now you serve me Kroger brand.
That's why I told Migo, like, you can't be taking these women from South America and then bringing them to America. If I can't, they gonna be expanded in thought, brother.
Yeah, and so that's the concept, but you can't do that.
So when it comes to
damn, how do you get past that record though? Like having that.
No, why? And the reason how I get past the record because it helped, it hindered me a little bit, but because I decided I'll never let nobody dictate my life.
Gotcha.
Because see, a record can't do nothing with entrepreneurship.
fact.
Now, given the industry I was in, good thing I had a good partner at the time, and she was basically riding with me. And so when I came home, I had to put everything in her name because it was federal stuff.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah, it was federal stuff.
Right, because I know the IRS checking for you. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I had to ride in that sense. But the thing about it was, as far as looking for jobs and trying to, I'm like, bro, I don't anybody tell you, I don't ask nobody to give me nothing.
It's crazy because when you came out and got on your feet, you were still taking advice from Greg.
And when I came out, yeah, because I'm still a new head. You got to understand, it's not, you don't master this in 15 months. You don't master this in 18 months. So Greg been in this for years. You know, so yeah. So the beautiful thing about it is, I got out in December. Greg got in January.
Oh, he got out in January.
So and he was from Atlanta.
Damn,
so this all
crazy.
manifest. So it was like I had my mentor here to kind of teach me along the way.
Man, that's dope. I mean,
When you somebody in there, what's the best advice you can give them? I usually hear people say stay busy and stay out the way.
Use your time wisely, man. Use your time wisely, and that's the thing is learn. Look at it from that perspective. Like it's a educational process. It's a school, you know. Because now, man, the people got emails and shit in prison. Yeah, you can get on the computer and all that. You know,
they got the new iPhones.
Yeah, you know, you got all that in prison.
Facebook groups.
Yeah, Facebook and shit in prison. You know, so you got opportunities. I learned how to type in prison.
Damn.
Really?
I learned about stock on a typewriter. I had a cat. It was on a typewriter. Like cat I used to have to go to the library to meet him to learn how to type. You know, because when I was in high school, I used to be the dude that go by the typing class talking about, look at all y'all sisters in there typing. Like all the guys, like guys ain't typing. Yeah, guys ain't do no typing class. You know, and so I'll be ducking by the door. Either it was one girl that I liked in typing, so I would always hang. But I'm like, I ain't taking no typing, man. You know, and so, you know, I took advantage of that situation. And I basically, I did the time, I didn't let the time do me.
That's a fact.
You know, and that's the problem. So that's what I tell people, do your time and don't let time do you. And that's the problem is most people let the time do them. They go in there, they don't do nothing. Cats used to always mess with me when I come on the weight pile. I'll go on the weight pile, they're like, here come Brian about to do that Jane Fonda. You know, because y'all too young to know Jane Fonda is.
The white woman, right?
It's the white woman. She had a videotape that she did a workout.
She
did like the fitness.
That's where everybody was so hyped. I was like, what the hell was somebody? You know, I got her confused with the woman that do 50 minutes interviews? Barbara Walters.
Oh,
I knew when.
That's what Jane Fonda was known for.
Yeah, like doing the little aerobics.
The baby got back, doing workout.
She used to do the little workout videos, and so they used to always mess with me because I come on the weight pile for about 50 minutes, and I'm gone. I'm going to the library. I would bring my books to the weight pile, work out a little bit, and go to the library when Cass was out there for 2 and 3 hours. So they would always tease me. Here come Brian about to get that Jane Fonda in. But the thing about it is, I wasn't in there basically to win no weightlifting competition. Gotcha. I was in there to develop my mind. So
I would come out like Tukey Williams, but
Tukey was on some steroids.
All that bread.
Yeah, Tukey was on steroids. And that's the thing is, man, that's the difference between coming in and manifesting your life, when you come out versus people who don't. Because most cats go in there and they just go ahead and let the time do them. And
how easy is it to get caught up in the politics of incarceration?
It's very easy. I tell people, man, especially as a black man, we don't even realize how close we are to being incarcerated. Mm-hmm. Because see, with the law enforcement and the whole, not even say the law enforcement, but the system. The system most of the time just got to get somebody. It don't have to be the right body. Mm-hmm. So if you got a crime and they say it's a 6'4" black man,
oh damn,
you a 6'4" black man.
Oh facts. I already know.
Somebody got to pay.
6'3".
That's why I have no tattoos.
Somebody got to pay for that crime.
For real.
So they don't care. So this is why I tell you, as a black man, you so close to. And then once you get in the system, nobody ever respects or believe you. Because you're a criminal. Mm-hmm. You're a criminal. You're not a human being that made a mistake.
Damn, man.
You're not a human being that made a mistake. You're a criminal. Yeah, and that's why the politics of it is so hard, because they're going to talk to you like shit in there. Mm-hmm. Because you're a criminal. Because if you say, well, now I'm innocent. Yeah, everybody innocent. That's what you see on TV is real life shit. That's how they feel. Like everybody going to say they're innocent. And so the thing is that this is why I tell people, man, you got to tread very, very lightly as a black man when you're doing stuff, and be mindful of your circles, especially young black men, bro, because everybody's guilty until proven innocent.
So,
especially as a black man.
At the time you was in a relationship, and you maintained that throughout, correct?
Yes.
And then you ended up marrying her, whatnot.
Yeah.
How was that to maintain throughout the process? Her having faith in you.
To my post prison or in prison?
In prison, because that was a girlfriend. She could have up and left if she wanted. True. Right?
Yeah.
So how was that mentally and even the actual going through it and things like that?
Mentally for me it was good, because again my whole process was I did this shit. Yeah. Well, ain't nobody else gonna do time with me.
I mean, holding that together while in there.
Well, my thing was too is that you gotta learn to somewhat block the outside out. Now, given I was what they consider short, 15, 18 months is what they call short. That means you about to come home. Gotcha. So I came in short.
Gotcha.
So it's not as if I was like, oh shit, I got to do 8 years, 10 years. You need to wait. No, and so my thing was, I can't now dictate the outside. Gotcha. So mentally, she come and visit me. Yeah. She accepted my calls. Mm-hmm. The thing is, she had to ask me to call a lot of times, because my life is, I don't ever want to seem like a burden to somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't ever want to seem like a burden to somebody. I'm extremely self-sufficient. I'm a go-getter. I'm a get shit. So I'm gonna make this happen with or without you. But luckily she rolled with me, so I wasn't never having those thoughts about relationship. I didn't care. Like at that point, I messed up. I can't be sitting at home wondering if a nigga digging her out.
Facts.
I can't.
Facts.
Because basically at that point, my time gonna be hard.
Facts.
My time gonna be hard. And this was cats. I used to have to tell cats, and you could ask any cat that I was down with. Yeah. I'd be like, bruh, you can't monitor this woman. Cats going to the phone room at 10:30, seeing if she's still home, and be like, you better not be going out. You better not be with no nigga. You better not be doing it. And I'm like, I'm thinking like, bruh, she could be sitting down the phone with you while she beating it.
No, fuck that. Yeah, why you saying
yeah, she like with me. I ain't going nowhere, but she's beating it. Nigga be right there next to you. So, so the thing is, you can't monitor that.
Might have been me back in the day. I've changed.
Migo used to like older women.
There you go.
Yeah, back in the day, what you about 8?
We ain't gonna reveal his traumas.
And so the thing was, man, I didn't make it hard on me. Yeah. And like I said, and to be honest with you, she rolled with me. She would come visit. It would be times where I would tell her, like, she would want to come visit. Some Sundays, I'd be like, look, I got an intramural basketball game, and I got a football game that day. Because we had flag football, we had basketball, and stuff like that in there, too. So it was like game day. Like, sometimes on game day, I would say, well, what about next week? Because again, this was things that I enjoyed, but I wasn't gonna basically make you do time with me.
Mm-hmm. So that brought up something earlier. I was talking to Mark about. So being that you post divorce, what is it like now? Because I be watching your posts. Like I said, I see the talent coming in and out of your posts, and I always like, what is it like for Rich now that you zaddy in the city? You know what I'm saying? Because these chicks see you traveling, you getting to the bags, you doing all this stuff in the community. You freshly single out here. What is it like being an older man that's well established, and now you got your dating office?
Hey, why did you say Migo ain't got no faith?
Hey, damn, bro, like. You don't have to be expressing like older man and stuff. I know I might be, bro, but I'm
you're an OG, man. It's respect. It's respect.
It's a difference between an OG and an older man. When you say,
well, I'm fighting you. You're an OG.
He's fighting as you.
I'm fighting. That's why I ain't getting that gray ass beard. Like I ain't letting it go out on 34. What you mean?
Yeah, it's just like when I say that, man. I say that with all super duper respect, because it's when a young man, a younger man refers to older man as a the OG. Yeah. It's me like recrowning you.
Or
I got you.
It's like that. I look up to you. You know what I'm saying? In that aspect. So it's like, and now in today with the dating climate, the zaddy topic is big.
I got
you. I know y'all out here doing y'all thing, and I just want to, people got to know. Like, they don't believe me when I say what goes on out here. So I like to bring men on you.
You like fast-paced women, though.
Well, I'm saying, but he the zaddy. He got all the baddies. I don't like the zaddy with the baddies. What's that lifestyle really like? Because people think I be bullshitting and exaggerating.
Well, I would say, and I used to say this about 10 years ago, like, damn, I can imagine what Puffy them lifestyle was.
Now he puffing his tax shit, boy.
Right. For real. So, and you read between the lines on that one, though. But I'm going to go in, but like, be honest with you, man. That was one of my fears about basically being single. Like, when I used to always say that, like, I'm scared to be single. People are like, wow, you got to have a woman around you. Scared. No, that wasn't it. Like, I don't mind cooking, cleaning, ironing. I'll do all of those things.
Facts.
I didn't trust me. I didn't trust me, and that's what that problem I thought I was gonna have with being you had me say being a zaddy. With being single, is the fact that I know I like the streets.
Yeah,
and not in a bad. I like going out. I like going out. I like traveling. I like doing those things. So my thinking was, with traveling, like I would go to LA sometime, and I would stay 3 or 4 days, and I'd be like, damn, I want to stay another day. But then
you don't know how to turn your switch on.
I'm like, well, know what? Because I might feel like I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to, so I might be like,
Mark.
But then I'll be like, know what? I'll be like, man, know what? Let me get my butt home,
man.
But I know being single, I would have stayed another day.
Yeah.
And then what happened is, once I got home from there, I probably would have left again, which all that would have been counterproductive to success and growth. Yeah. And this is what I was scared, because I'm not that cat that necessarily gonna get up out of my bed at 2 a.m.
What you mean?
But if you call me and say I'm coming over, I might entertain that.
Right.
But again, I was just basically like, I didn't want to have
options right there.
I didn't want to have to deal with. I'm just saying, if that was the case.
Right. Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically. Right. But that's what I was scared of, because then I know I ain't waking up early to get stuff done.
True.
This was prior to my semi-retired life. Gotcha. I don't get up early now, but at one point I used to get up early. But now I know, if I'm entertaining late in the morning, I'm not getting up. So then my day starting late, I'm not getting stuff done, and I'm not being productive. So that's where I was basically kind of scared to be single, because I didn't trust me.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, man, that I'm glad. First of all, I'm an only child. I'm a loner. I can do myself. I love being by myself. So I can deal with, basically being with myself. Then secondly, I got a lot of shit out of my system in my life. I always tell people, and it's not too many people that have done as much as often as I have. So for me, it's not a big desire to do that and have 4 and 5 chicks and do all that stuff. I pretty much been through that stage. As you get older, it's not about that no more. Now you got to basically fuck my mind.
Man.
You know, and it's not a whole lot of people in that situation. It's not a lot of women that you're going to come across that basically can physically attract you and mentally attract you. So the options are not as great as you thought, as opposed to when at one time it was basically straight physical.
Man. So we in Atlanta, and people, it's funny because people outside of Atlanta be like, but you in Atlanta though. You in the city of entrepreneurship. You in the city where these women are highly educated and they go-getters. What is the discrepancy in this idea versus the reality of like what's really out there?
Bro, I'm probably the expert on that. I shock so many people with that one because the reason why I say that is because everybody said Atlanta got so many attractive women. You know, it's so many. I say no. I say not really. I say it depends on what you're looking for. I say for me, it's not a lot of attractive women because you can't do anything past superficial.
Bam.
And if that's the
case, you have a lot of time.
Mark don't ever believe me.
Wait. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Go ahead, Rick.
It's a lot of physically attractive women.
Very fine.
It's a lot of but once you get to a certain point in life, it ain't all about the physical. So now you're not as attractive to me. When I meet you, you're fine, you're pretty, you're sexy. We talk, and bullshit come out of your mouth.
Straight up bullshit.
You ain't attractive no more.
All come out of their mouth. 99% of it is what they want a man to do for them, and then the other 1% is about some social bullshit that's happening on social media.
And that's it.
Or the ideas that they got that they don't have the energy to implement.
Nothing that's baiting you in. Nothing that's interesting. Nothing that's encouraging for you. It's like, bro, they don't know how to speak to your interests, bro.
Bro, that's facts.
But Mark don't believe that. Mark believes that they all out here and they everywhere.
No.
Yeah, that's facts.
We talk about women on different levels.
We argue about this all the time. I tell him he got more faith in them than I do. See, like I'm like you. Like I've like Mark been married for a while. And so he's done the whole family thing. I want a family. I don't have no kids and nothing like that. But I
help him out, bro.
But all I'm saying is,
get on.
I know the women want to see how you look and what's going on.
What's going on, ladies? Please, both of your channels, all of your channels.
But all I'm saying is, like I've been through all that. Like it's gotten to the point. It's so bad. I haven't had sex since October. Right, and I'm out there with. That's a long time for me.
He ain't got. Listen,
that's a long time for me. But
he ain't had sex since I got divorced.
Facts. But it's because I just want more. Like the thought of just a fine woman, it don't just do nothing for me now. I need substance, and I need a woman that takes initiative to want to volunteer and do things for you, or want to. And this can be small things, you know what I'm saying? But I just want a woman that's built with integrity and that can step up to the plate.
How tall are you, brother?
You know, I'm 6'4".
And you 6'4", 6 figures. What else? What else?
6'4", 6 figures.
I'm working on good looking brother.
No kids. Look,
no kids. Still there. No, you balding a little bit.
Yeah, don't do that.
Right. But what I'm saying is that I just want a woman who's serious about being a great partner.
Yeah.
Not just a woman that just want to be just a trophy piece. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't saying, look, I'll take care of it. Me and Mark talk about this all the time too. I pay all the bills, do all that, X, Y, and Z. I'm a traditional man in that aspect.
You been locked in by 8 women.
But hold on,
what I tell him is stop leading with that.
But right, he said stop leading, and I try not to. But I'm just saying, like, I feel you when we talk about quality in Atlanta and dating. That's why, like, a lot of people don't believe me. But I'm like, y'all, that's like now I've gotten to the point where I started to look outside.
Yeah,
like what?
Outside of the states,
but see, the problem is, man, you can't go after a sexy, beautiful 28-year-old and say you want a relationship because most 28-year-olds are not built there mentally. They can't provide the things you say you want. Me, as somebody who's done everything, I can't find a young person basically to say I want her to give me this because she's not experienced enough to give me that. She haven't lived enough. And you talking about some women that even at 35 really haven't experienced enough. So sometimes you basically gotta find somebody that really experienced some things, or you gotta find somebody older because now they passed the games. Yeah, they passed, and they basically now in a place where you want to be. And so that's what happens is we start looking at people that ain't really ready for us, and say, well, she ain't this, she ain't that. Hey, no, because you didn't choose her for that reason. Yeah, you chose her because, damn. Right, like that's like right there, and want her to be what you want. Right, and it don't work like that.
Nah, it don't. I gotta find a cool 6 or 7. You know what I'm saying? And who got great, outstanding personality, and I'll make her a wife. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but you can find a 10. You can find a 9.
I'm glad you said it because he wanted me to pick a 3 or a 4 and make her. He was like, "But what's wrong?" I'm like, "Bro, look at her. Like, come on, bro."
I don't want to discount the extremely what we and beauty's in the eye beholder, but we do have a consensus as men. Facts. So I ain't gonna lie about that. I ain't gonna lie, sugarcoat it, and we don't look at surface shit right away. Facts. And so, but again. It's 10s out there. It's women that's extremely attractive that got their stuff together.
Yeah, I told Migo that Lizzo.
But it's a lot. It's a challenge. Because see, you gotta now be able to decipher through what she's been through. Facts. Because see, if she got her own now, that means she had to do some grinding by herself. Big facts. So that means she got walls and barriers up when it comes to man. Because evidently, if it wasn't a situation in the past, she would have had somebody she built that with. In most cases,
big fact. No, you.
So now it's like, all right, what are you bringing now? What do you have? What do you can offer? Because I'm a very attractive woman that get a lot of attention. Plus, I have my own business. I have my own money. What can you do now? So that's why the women, because they get so much attention. Yeah. And it's hard for them to decipher, and they don't want to decipher through the bullshit men.
And I always say that too. It is a lot of dudes out there who they don't want anything beyond sex, and so therefore they don't have any requirements of these women. So it kind of retrains these women to not ever come at a man trying to come at a man and have great performance. Yeah. Because they just used to all I gotta do is look good enough and just show up, and that's good enough. Because again, so many thirsty dudes be like, well, baby, that's all. Don, you perfect. You fine, y'all do. And they come run across a motherfucker like me and think that I'm bougie, or they think that I'm crazy, or I have this thing against women. It's like, no, I just have standards. You talk to a woman has standards. Why can't a man? You don't think a man ever doesn't want to be charmed? He don't want to be swooned. He don't want to ever want favors.
Women do a terrible job of that. And I know every woman on my feed gonna say, not me. Right. That's always the case.
They're saying where you find these women.
Yeah. But I'll tell you firsthand, as somebody that basically financially that's in a good place. Yeah. If women think you have it, then a lot of times they not making no initiative to say, well, I'm gonna treat you, bruh. Or I bought you this just because, bruh. What? And that's basically with me. That goes a long way. Not that I need you to do it, but it shows it's character traits.
He's gonna leave here and be like, I told you he was the king. I told you.
Yeah, it's character traits.
Because I be wanting Mark. He think and it's because we looking at it from two different angles. Like I said, he's already done the family thing. I'm gotten to the point. We both done a lot of hoe running together, and I've done I ain't been P Diddy, but I might have been Sean, his son. You know what I'm saying, King Combs. But but it's like you get to this point. I'm now ready for that next more responsible chapter in my life, which is legacy building and family building.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, man. And to be honest, and the reason why I could speak on it so much, like a lot of times when I speak on podcasts with women about relationships and money and stuff, they always invite me back, because I've seen both aspects of it. And I'll say, like, right now, it's extremely challenging. It's extremely challenging, man, because especially when you start getting to certain places, it becomes mental. Yeah. And it's not about that. Like, when I hear women say, I'm a good woman, my first response is, good for who? Good for who?
Without expectations.
Because if you say, if I cook, I clean, I make sure this and that, like, that ain't every man's desire. My thing is, baby, can I bounce this idea off of you? I'm telling you. Can you come to me and say, I was at an event, I thought this guy was a good connect for you, so I got his information to link y'all. Man. Because my thing is, I want to make money to you. Woman. I want to make money. That's a good woman for me.
Yeah, for me too.
Because I don't care if you can cook or clean. I want to make a bunch of money with you so we can hire somebody to cook and clean.
Thank you. And that's why I tell women to say, I hire people to cook and clean now. Like I'm working on my fitness now, so I hired a chef, that makes all my meal. I always for almost a year now. I've been hiring a person to come clean. Like I do want a woman that can replace those expenses.
Yeah.
But that's not that don't last. Like you ain't coming in the door thinking you're gonna win me over because you cook and clean. Yeah. I grew up in a single parent household. I know how to cook and clean. Yeah. But is it like you said? How are you a great partner? How about when I'm sick? Are you somebody that can be there and help nurture me back to health? Can you pick my mom up, run errands? Are you cool with confrontation? When you see me getting into it with somebody, are you the one that can help cool me down, not the one that's gonna turn me up? You know, like it's like you said, it's all about like we talked about a little bit a while ago. This is partnership. Are you a great partner? You have interest in being a great partner. You know
but see, you've evolved, and so as you get older, as you get more mature, you're gonna meet less and less of those women. Because you're not going to be in circles with those type of women that's going to hype you up. Yeah, baby, kick his ass. You know, you ain't going to meet those type of women no more. Oh, man, you let him talk to you like that? You know, you'll get women that say, you know what, it ain't worth it. Let's get away. But as you get older, you meet women that basically now a little bit more mature. You know, and so with me seeing both sides of it, you know, I see as a single man, because see, I never had this conversation with women before. And I ain't going to say against, like in my marriage, I would say I was a hell of a provider, but I ain't always say I was the best husband. I wasn't. Don't get me wrong. I think from a character standpoint, you know, she would say that. Oh yeah, his character was hellified. He was a pleasant person. Always treated me right, other than some things. You know, but again, the thing with that is that now I had those conversations back then with women, but I really didn't care because I knew it wasn't going to lead to nothing.
Gotcha.
But now that I'm divorced and I'm single, the conversations are different.
Yeah, we about to roll together.
The conversations are different, and I see now where a lot of deficiencies in women are. Yeah. And women will say, well, men got theirs too. I ain't never tried to date no man, so I don't care.
Facts. Right.
That ain't what I'm talking about. And when you ask me about a woman.
Conversations with an intentional man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you trying to talk to me about where your bar at the bottom, and we saying, okay, now that we passed these minimum expectations, and now we trying to get to a level of elevation, it's a lot of people who can't keep up with them conversations because they spend so much time invested in what the wrong men are doing.
Yeah,
I find myself in situations where, like, people think I'm recently divorced. I'm very open to a dynamic woman.
Yeah.
But when you start seeing what your options are, you know, I'm like, all right, cool, we passed that. So I inspire you to do a lot. I do a lot, and that inspires you, and you get so caught up with a shooting star. You get so caught up in what I'm doing for you. And I often have these conversations with my homegirls and even with Migo. What if I were to you who you are to me?
Yeah.
And sometimes I do it experimentally. You know, I show up dynamic, and I be like, all right, I'm going to chill out for a little bit. Let me see how you, because you still got to perform. You still got to show up for me. You still got to show me these things, and a lot of people got these blockers up where, one, they just used to what they used to, which is subpar performance. And then when you find a person that's intentional and they doing things and they making it easy on you, how do you inspire those people? And most people don't know because they get caught up in what they not willing to do because they give off the wrong image. Or you don't have that discernment to even say, oh, he different. Oh, he treat me different. He talk to me different. He operate different. The way that he live his life is different. A lot of people don't have that discernment, and so because of that, I'm still here.
And people, and I always say too, you got to understand, like, it's gonna take work on both ends, because you got to understand with somebody like me that came from 25 years in a relationship.
25.
That's less than 2 years divorce.
That's like 2.5.
Yeah. So when you start talking about that, but then you talking about somebody like me now that pay alimony. So you don't think now I gotta be cautious of who I deal with and what type of relationships I jump into? Because if I jump into another marriage, which my finances probably then went to another level, and I gotta pay $3,000 a month alimony. You know, and so my thing is
that's different, man.
Yeah, and so now I gotta basically look at all of that now. Yeah. So now you gotta basically work with me a little differently now, because you gotta understand that I'm coming out of a 25-year situation, 2 years newly in that sense. So right now, we gonna have to work a little differently, and I think women gotta be open to understanding criticism. Like what happens is that, and first again, y'all ladies, y'all don't have to come back and say, well, y'all men too, because again, I ain't talking, because I ain't never tried to date no man. I'm just talking about basically when you start talking about a man that's in different positions, and he give you some criticism, take heed to it. Yeah, I ain't saying you gotta change it. I ain't saying you, but at least listen and say, because again, I'm used to dealing with a different type of woman. Yeah. So people always like to say, oh, well, because Bonquisha and such and such. But we ain't talking about those, because you know what you're going to get.
Right, yeah, you know what you're going to get with that. Like, I know if these strip club girls lie to me, and if I take them home, you know what I'm saying, try to make something out of them, I'm setting myself up, you know what I'm saying, for an L. I know what time it is.
So you tried a number of times and it didn't work?
Man, listen, Rich. Like I said, I haven't been Sean Combs, but I definitely been King Combs.
So you tried to make your girlfriend?
No, I never tried to make her. But I tried to date a few. You know what I'm saying?
I dated a few too. So
he's definitely dated a few. Yeah, he went made errors in that department I didn't make. But the thing, like we've been through a lot. But I want to ask you this: you do a lot of traveling, and Mark, I travel too, but Mark is definitely a travel near.
Okay.
Sort of like yourself, and I think he's junior compared to you. But
I got time.
But what are some of your favorite places to go, and what sparked your interest in wanting to travel? Because a lot of people come from where you come from.
Yeah.
Don't travel, and definitely don't travel as often as frequently.
And Migo just made it outside of 285.
He just got the Snellville. He ain't been to Snellville.
It was Roswell and 285.
It's a couple of things, man. Like I said, one, I was blessed to have a dad that lived on the West Coast, so I used to go visit. So I saw things, so it opened my mind to seeing things different. I think as a young person, I love experiences. I love new stuff. This is why you see me at so many different restaurants. I love the fact of going to somewhere new. That excites me, And so one of the reasons why I travel, because the experience part, I always say, it opens up your mind. This is one of the things I preach to people: let your kids travel, And so I think for me, it expands my mind when I travel. I love seeing different cultures. I love seeing different places. I love basically dealing with people in different countries, And then I think the second part is because when I was locked up and then I got out, they restricted me so much. They restricted me, so it was almost like fuck y'all, I'm free. I'm going to be free. Ain't nobody holding me from nothing now, because people don't understand. I don't care how much time you do and where it is, if it's easy prison, hard prison, wherever, it's still confinement. As a grown-ass man, somebody's telling you when to go to bed, when to cut the lights off. Somebody's telling you when you can't go.
Yeah, facts.
So even when I came home, I remember I wanted to go. Me and my ex-wife wanted to go to London, and I was still on paper. I was still on probation. Her best friend was out there. They would not let me go. Damn. And I said to myself, I'll never be in a situation where somebody else gonna dictate my joy.
Facts.
And this is what I love doing. So my thing is, I travel because I love it. And now I travel because I can.
What's some of your favorite places to go to?
Well, I love South America and Central America.
Hey.
I love those places. And the reason why is because a couple of things. One, the weather is beautiful all year round.
Fact.
They got, it's always in the 80s. I don't care if it's January, December, February, you're still in the 80s. You got basically beautiful beaches, beautiful women. Basically the food is very good.
It is.
And it's extremely cheap.
Yes.
You can go over there and you can ball out. And so that's some of my favorite places. So when you talk about Central America, South America, I love Colombia, I love Costa Rica, Panama, basically the DR. I love those places, which I've been to a lot of other islands, but those places are really, because the food is real good. They treat you
like
nice.
A Costa Rican.
And so people say that about every. If I say something else, they say the same thing. Oh, you love going to DR. You love this. But like my ultimate places, man. Like my memorable trips, like Antarctica for one. Like Antarctica was.
You went to Antarctica?
That's on my list.
Yeah, because I wanted to do all 7 continents.
Facts, boy.
Facts. Yeah, and so I've done all 7 continents. And so Antarctica was one of those trips, like, it's just like, wow, this shit is crazy.
What the hell was that?
Help get him out this mentality that certain things is white people stuff.
I did tell him that. Antarctica
but know what? It is white people stuff. But what happens is, when you start getting white people money, you start...
Hey, Okay, I like that.
He a skeptic. You will have full. He'll have empty.
Yeah, and so it's the thing is, and that's why I tell people when people say, if I had, man, I would never do that, and I say because that's your current temporary, that's your current financial situation talking. You'll be surprised at what you do if money wasn't a problem.
So you'll be surprised.
When people say they wouldn't go places, they wouldn't do certain things. If your money was built differently, it's certain things. Like some people may not go to Antarctica because they talk about it's cold. But
it's cold as hell.
In January, it's warmer than it is here right now.
But December, no, it's not.
They get up to 50 degrees.
Well, like I say, over the last couple of years, it kind of started doing that. Yeah, it kind of started doing that now because this is why they scared in the next few years Antarctica is going to actually melt. All the stuff is going to melt and it's going to flood the world in a sense.
Damn.
You know, but two of my probably top trips was basically the Great Wall in China. Damn. And the pyramids is probably number one.
Cairo? Damn.
Because I think in Egypt people really don't understand. People really don't understand the magnitudes of those pyramids. And see, when I look at it from a different perspective, because when I look at it and I'm like, bruh, how they built these pyramids. Like the pyramids are 400 feet tall and each brick weighs at least 2,000 pounds. And so I think about the mines back then, how we underutilized. So this motor, like, bro, when I come from places like that, I come back excited, like, bro, we ain't using our mine enough.
Hey, facts.
You know, when you can build a great wall on the side of a mountain that's 5,500 miles long, bruh, on the side of a mountain. That shit is crazy. So we don't. So this
Hold on, the Great Wall of China is 15 miles long?
5,500 miles long.
Damn, bro. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, and so it's basically on the side. Yeah.
That's impressive as shit.
I know.
On the side of a mountain, bro. That's the crazy thing. And so that's why I say they didn't have cranes and shit. Not like we have. And so when you see this,
motor vehicles.
Yeah, when you see the Taj Mahal in India that took 21 years to build, but you see the architect behind it. Bro, this is mind blowing, and this is why I love travel, because it opens up my mind and it makes me hungrier to go see more things, to do more things, and we gotta basically, because when I went to Peru, well, no, it wasn't Peru, it was Argentina, Ecuador. When I went to Ecuador was one of my favorite trips.
Hold on, Ecuador,
one of the richest.
And I had that same. That's what I was about to say. The same response, basically, that you saying. Yeah. Everybody was saying, "Why Ecuador? Ecuador." That was one of my favorite trips, bro. Because if you see the experience of the equator, if you can stand on the equator, you know what kind of white people shit you say that is. Stand on the, but see how the different parts of the world respond to different things. Like like the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and you can see the way different things operate on each side of the world. That shit is crazy.
Yeah. Hold on. So what did it feel like to be next to the equator?
Well, when you stand on the equator, you can feel the gravity from both sides of the hemisphere pulling you. Yeah. Like when you walk and you can feel it, bro, like you can't even walk straight, like because it has no gravity right on the equator. Yeah. You can stand an egg up on a nail on the head of a nail because it won't fall because there's no gravity. It's so many things, like even with them trying to pull my arms down, like the guy was like, "Who the strongest person?" So they had me raise my arm, and the guy couldn't pull my arms down. He said, "All right, here, stand on the equator." I stood on the equator. He just pushed it down, like, bro, just to be experiencing things like that, to be.
I like detail. You don't give me detail. You just say shit generally, and I just be like, no, that don't even sound crazy.
But to be successful, you gotta open your mind.
About Ecuador women, that's what it was.
You gotta open your mind to be successful, super successful. And I'm not saying you gotta do Ecuador, you gotta do Antarctica, but even with me, I've done all 50 states.
Damn.
And so people like,
people like, why? But I'll be on your page. I'm like, man, you the most interesting.
And people like, why Montana? Why? Because I don't know.
I want to go to North Dakota.
North Dakota, because I don't know. Like that excites me. Like, let me see what's in North Dakota, because I don't know. It might be the bomb ass chicken wing spot in North Dakota. I just don't know.
They got the buffaloes.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff, man, excites me. So you got to open up your mind. And the worst case scenario is I didn't like it. I won't go back.
Favorite place? Where you at?
Least favorite?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good ass question.
To be
honest with you, I'm gonna go back this year if I can. If the pandemic, because I was gonna go last year in May.
St. Louis.
No.
Chill, bro.
When you talk about it in the world or in the U.S.?
You can do if in the world, because if you say
Paris.
state, Paris,
Damn, bro.
I hear about that often.
Hold on,
Paris. But I'm willing to give Paris, because see, I used to say Paris was my most overrated country and L.A. was my most overrated city. But now I love L.A.
Okay.
So I say I'll give Paris another chance.
So why do you think Paris was overrated?
It was just because it was always dreary, it was cold, it was muggy, it was rainy. Plus the people just came across as extremely rude. Every time you ask somebody, they just like didn't even try to. They just walk off.
You went as
the
single
food
man?
was some bullshit.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, the food was some bullshit.
My mom went and said the same thing about the food.
Yeah, the food was some bullshit.
Your mom been to Paris?
Yeah, my mom went. Remember they went to when they went to Africa, they made a stop in Paris to get to Africa.
Yeah,
but that's she
the
told
best.
me too.
The best thing,
and it stunk.
Yeah, the best thing I had in Paris was McDonald's fries.
Damn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the food was some shit
She
though.
said they give you these small plates.
Yeah, and so we just gotta open up our mind, man, and be intentional about like shit is not the moon.
I just want you to know that.
Are you just to pivot a little bit? You still into real estate?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm in the real what I've been doing over the last few years. I've been investing. So I hadn't bought anything personally, but I've been funding deals. So you might need something on the deal to get a deal done. You'll give me a return on my investment. That's what I've been doing. I just recently on December 9th, I closed on my building. So the building where my office is, I actually got the building now.
Congratulations.
And so that's my first thing.
Me and Migo talk about this from time to time.
I just got. I'm gonna buy a house. He's already a homeowner.
So what's some advice you got in terms of real estate? Not to say that you're an expert, but
because I'm teetering on the edge of should I buy this year or should I just wait? And I'm looking. Let me tell you the perspective I'm looking at it from. I might not be in this state beyond 2 years, so it might be a property I'm gonna have to be able to either rent it out and make money from it, or have to sell at a profit.
Yeah, if right now I would say, because all of the stories that I'm hearing, I don't know if you would have to talk to an agent, because the stories I'm hearing is people buying houses at $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over the value.
Yeah.
So do you want to compete with that right now?
Gotcha.
And I'm hearing this story every day. Like even the podcast I was on this morning, we talked about that, because actually the mortgage guy was on there with me this morning, and he talked about that, how people are buying $30,000 over value. Do you really want to compete with that right now, especially if you're leaving? Because you probably can get it, and when you sell it, you may have some value in it. But again, getting it on the front end may be the problem.
Yeah, and I was telling them, like, so I bought mine 2 years ago. I'm around the corner actually. So I always had these conversations. It's like, whether you hear or not, you don't think about the next year, 2 years, whatever.
Yeah.
You think about the next 10, 15 years. Like right now, I'm up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't see it as just a livable space. So for me, it's like, all right, I probably can rent some of the space out. I can do things, because this is just gonna get me to my next financial position.
I'm looking at mine too as like more as an investment property. It's not gonna be my dream house. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the reason why it wouldn't make as much sense for you to sell it in 2 years.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
if you get it and hold it, because the problem right now is, man, we just don't know what this pandemic, and because they keep saying that we gonna feel the effects of this for the next 2 to 3 years. So even though we may not be in a COVID situation, you're gonna feel the effects of it.
Gotcha.
So you got to talk to somebody that actually look at market trends and looking at the next 3 to 5 years to say, all right, the home market is gonna be crazy. It'd be a good time to sell, and that basically, no, I would wait 10 years, I would wait 5 years. I would wait something, and so the thing about it is, I'm a believer of staying in my lane.
Gotcha.
I ain't gonna be talking on that and telling you, dog, get that house, man. Let's go. Let's have that cookhouse. And now you in a bad position and shit.
I'm texting your ass like, man, you ain't picking up the phone. Called you 6 times.
Yeah. So I would tell you, talk to somebody that's in that lane. Now when you get ready to file, say, B, how can I use my taxes?
Yeah.
How can I use my house to get more taxes?
Drop some of that ice.
Then I got you on that part. Yeah,
right.
But I ain't trying to advise you on if it's good or bad, because I ain't gonna be responsible for that.
So, leaving question. I'm gonna ask one, Mark, if you got one, you guys want to. When you gonna do the next singles excursion?
Actually,
you gotta do it.
I got 2 situations coming up. I got one. If I can get the build out And we're going to start doing the build out on the building tomorrow. Fortunately, I only have to do the bottom level because the second level I occupy another person, and the top level I already have tenants.
Okay, good.
If I get it done by February, Valentine's Day, I may do something at the office, like a singles thing at the office, really to introduce it as well as get some people out. And because it's Valentine's Day, I may just do it as a singles thing. I did trips in the future. I mean, in the past, I'm looking to do kind of a single type situation in maybe June to Jamaica.
Oh, I like that.
You ever been to what is it? Hedonism?
You say, have I been to hedonism?
Yep.
I haven't actually been to hedonism, but I've been to hedonism situations.
Hey, I knew you was going to say that.
All right, so what I got for you, you done dropped a lot of information. I like to talk about the principles of masculinity, principle of manhood. So, what is some things that you would, and Migo's asked this in the past, you talking to your younger self, you talking to some younger guys, what is something that you would say, hey, prioritize this, because this is going to make your life much better moving forward?
Are you talking about from a woman, meeting the women, or?
Whatever. I mean, some of the ideas have been, yo, make sure you got a good partner. Make sure you on your stuff now. And don't worry about women and things like that. Well,
two things I would say, though. One is definitely my younger self. I would tell my younger self, learn as much as you can about shit that's relevant.
Facts.
You know, because see now, if I was 25 and 24 learning about real estate, learning about investments, because see, I invested. One of the reasons why I'm in a good position, I invested young, but I had no idea what I was doing. And if I had some knowledge of it, man, it would be a whole nother level.
Gotcha.
And so I would tell my younger self, learn as much as you can about shit that's relevant, you know, for one. And then secondly, man, just, you know, your circle, you know, your circle of influence, you know, start that a lot earlier. You know, just be mindful of the people that you're getting information from, the people that you're hanging around, those type of things. And I think that's the thing that's really going to help. And then, again, be a better listener. Don't believe that you know it all. You know, don't believe that you know it all. And this is a problem that I'm having with my young people that I try to highlight, the men. Whenever I have bad experiences with young guys because I always got to tell them, bro, you don't know shit. You know, you don't know shit. So, you know, even personally, I would listen.
Fully ego, man.
Yeah, I would listen to basically people that are in better positions and not think that I know. Because, again, we get too consumed in our environment, in our circle. And the problem is our circle don't know shit, you know, as young people. So we're listening to all the wrong people. And then as far as a mate, man, you got to be... See, one thing with mentoring young people right now, I always say they can't see 20 years down the line.
Yeah.
Most adults can't see it. You know, and so now I tell young people, you make basically a decision, you know, for the present, but you consider the future.
Yeah.
You know, so you might make some decisions right now, but always think about 10 years from now. So it's like, again, have that conversation. 10 years from now, is she equally yoked with me to where she understand what entrepreneurship takes? So now I don't want to do 9 to 5 no more. I want to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs ain't going to get paid every Friday, but I don't need you bitching to me saying we ain't get no money coming in. We can't do this because you already knew my dream. So you got to articulate these things as in the beginning, your desires, even with children. Even with children, like in the beginning, you got to say, you know, and so I think you got to have that relationship with your mate and have these conversations when you're young, because I may only want 2 children. You want a house full. You want a house full. You know, because we got to know each other, basically backgrounds. We got to know, because you may have come from a broken home to where now your desire has always been to have a big family because your family was divided or they didn't come together. Your dad wasn't there. I don't want all them children because I have a career I want maybe 1 child. We got to have those conversations. And I think early on, I would basically have, you know, that's what I would tell my young self. Just communicate more, find out more, position myself for the future. And if I can change the law, I just saw something that one of my mentees, George, posted, like, with marriage license, I always say every other license have an expiration date.
Hey, facts,
except marriage license.
Hey,
so marriage license should be. So if I could change the law, that might be one that you basically get 7 years on your marriage. After 7 years, you don't have to renew, and y'all can just go by y'all way, and nobody have to pay no damn alimony and be paying that for years. And oh, well, that's pretty. I'm sorry, I got a little off track.
Got this back. All right, so we gonna head out pretty soon. But you did come. I think you the first guest to come with a gift.
Gifts. Yeah.
You the first guest to come with a
gift bag.
We appreciate all tokens of appreciation. And so we gonna start. Yeah. We're gonna start with what's the reason you gave us a notepad?
Because it had my marketing stuff on there, and you need to write.
I thought we about to have this.
No, I gave you the notepad because I'm more than sure most people take notes and scribble, so you got a notepad to do so. But just so happened, my marketing material is on there.
All right, we got this shirt. We got this shirt, and so I already know Migo gonna have chicks sneaking out with your shirt on.
Well, that's okay.
You gonna see her making little quick trip runs. And stuff.
Well, that's okay because that's the whole thing is that the shirt is actually marketing material. Is my locations are on there and my company information. So long as they go somewhere where people can see it, I'm good. He don't have to wear it as long as somebody else wear it.
We got the pin, but my favorite thing is the hairline concealer. In case I ain't shaved today.
Yeah.
Some people call them hats. Migo got it on like a real West Side.
But I gave y'all that because we in that cold season, so you might need a skull cap. But just so happened, my logo is on there. Just so happened my logo is. But I don't want y'all heads to freeze. But just so happened my logo is on there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a cold winter.
So if you haven't Rich gonna at the singles event. Rich gonna have condoms that just so happen
got his logo on it.
Now that's the old me. I teach people how to do that, man. I turned in my player card. I just still had a number, but I don't have a card, so you can't use it as much. And so I gave y'all the bag. So you can hold all your stuff, and so you don't have to be trying to carry everything around. And just so happened, it has my marketing information on there, though.
All right. So though we got the bags and everything with your information, what you tell them how to find you? Tell them
what people reach you.
Yeah.
Hey man, look, definitely reach out. And I tell you, I don't even know if we talk taxes. I don't even know if we talk tax. I'm the tax expert, man, and so we coming into that season. I'm the business expert. I can help you get your business set up, get it started, teach you how to run, grow your business. But first and foremost, I'm the tax expert, and you can actually go to my website at lbtaxservice.com. You can call our office at 678-213-1141. But if you're on our website, it'll lead you to wherever if you need to know what deductions you need to write off, it's on the website. How to contact any of the offices, again, lbtaxservice.com. And if you're on IG, definitely, I do a lot of videos. Tuesday, I do a video that's very informative. So you can follow me on IG at richboy, RICHBOIJUP1. That's Rich Boy Jupe 1. And I'm going to clear that up, too, because a lot of people think Rich Boy is mainly about my lifestyle. And Rich,
I thought it was too when I first started.
But it's not totally about my lifestyle. Yeah, it's not totally about my lifestyle. It's basically about my passion, too. And my passion is teaching business, teaching entrepreneurship, seeing people grow. So Rich Boy stands for really interested in caring how businesses operate internally. So RICHBOI, really interested in caring how businesses operate internally. Because we got to understand, you got to have that internal aspect of your business straight. Because and this is why a lot of businesses really don't grow. Because you see businesses look good on the outside, but internally they have no profit and loss statements. They don't do no taxes, no financials. So how can you really grow your business if all of those things that are necessities are not in place? So this is why I try to get you to get it from the ground up. We understand it with building a house. The foundation of the house got to be strong for the house to last. We understand it in relationships. We got to have a strong foundation in your relationship for it to grow, to have trust. In business is just as important.
And I always say this, because a lot of people see like the big thing for last year and a half, especially since the pandemic kicked off. You've seen this OnlyFans growth and people saying, I'm making all this money, X, Y, and Z. But one thing they're not calculating are the taxes that these people have to pay after the fees they get back from OnlyFans.
Never think about taxes, man. Never.
And it's like, I'll be like, y'all don't understand how money really works. If y'all think Uncle Sam think he about to let y'all out here pull all these licks off, he ain't getting this.
Yeah, but the perfect example of what you're saying now is now they taxing Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, all of those because they ain't trying to let nothing get past.
Hey, that's a fact, though.
They ain't letting nothing get. Everything is gonna be on paper. See, because the thing, and now it's gonna be easier to track because everything is digital now. So now we got records of everything that you do. Ain't nobody paying with cash and checks no more because we swiping now. We're touching and tapping now. Everything is on paper. Everything is digital. So they're gonna get a little bit of everything from everybody now.
How do you feel about, and this is like leaving the question I want to ask you about, and I didn't want to get into the taxes because I feel like everybody know you for taxes, and I wanted in my channel, we wanted to get more of I felt we can get more fruits out of you from the entrepreneurship journey that you went on, especially with your background. But let me ask you this: how do you feel about crypto and NFTs?
I love it. I love all of it, man. The thing is that we just got to be receptive to learning it. I think because it's people that's making millions of dollars off it. It's the new wave, and that's the thing is that we can't be saying just like older people like, oh, this cell phone stuff. I like my old phone. Ain't nobody doing no rotary phone no more. So you got to get with the new wave, and it's the same thing with crypto and all of the different things. In order now to be successful and stay on pace of what the world is doing, you're gonna have to transition to all of that now. And I love it because it's I ain't gonna say easy money, but you got folks that sit at home, man, becoming millionaires. That's sitting at home, that's leveraging things that other people in other communities been doing for years.
Yeah. Last question
that we learning.
I promise this is the last question. Who, if you were to create an avatar of a person, who, when you've done thousands upon thousands of taxes, on the avatar of a person, what's the identity of a person who's usually doing really well according to their taxes that you see on a consistent year in year out? This particular type of person is usually doing really well.
They're organized. They're organized, and to be honest with you,
what's that profile? Man, woman.
It's shit. I hate to put my brothers down.
We gotta tell the truth.
When you talk about big money, it's probably men. When you talk about really, really well, it's men. It's a probably an older man. I would say over the age of 45. That actually is an entrepreneur, and that's pretty much well organized.
And I asked you that because I wanted to kill this disbelief. I mean, not this disbelief, this myth, because social media again promotes a lot of hype. They think, and I had this conversation with women all the time. People aren't making as much money as you think they are making, and for the people who have this influx of money, because the average is still $46,000 for a black man and then $42,000 for a woman, but you haven't even counted in the taxes that they pay and children expenditures. So it's like people aren't there. There's only but a couple $1 trillion circulating in the global economy. So people, but if you look on Instagram, IG, everybody got millions and hundreds and doing six figures. It's like, and I just want to say, like, it's like that, and your avatar is on point with the usual wealth performance or income performance in society. Usually, older men are doing well the most on a consistent basis. Now, you got your exceptions to your rules. But
let me break this down for you.
All right.
Let me break. Now, I understand what you're saying. So when we talk about really, really doing well, that's probably the man in most cases. But when you talk about the number of people consistently, it's women now.
I love that.
It's when you start talking about like so I say that to say you might have 5 men that's making hundreds of millions or 10 million or something like that. That's the men making that money. But you're probably talking about 80% of the women that's making six figures compared to what the men are doing.
Got you.
So women now basically are consistently making more annually than men from what I see. But when you talk about the big money, it's going to basically be most of the men. Because see, and the reason why I say this, and I don't ever say this to piss women off, you know, but again, for the most part, because our egos are so big, we get 300,000. We want to make 3 million. We get 3 million. We want to make 30 million. Because now we want a stunt factor. A woman, but a lot of that comes with more commitment. Sometimes a woman basically, if she get 300,000, she might want 3 million, but she ain't gonna really force. Because if she got a family she's taking care of, she just want to be in a position for the most part where she can take care of her family, put money away for retirement, take trips, take care of her child, shop, do the things she want to do. Not to say that she's complacent, but because women are more of a nurturer. And they going to basically nurture. They going to be there for the family. So if I'm good, I'm comfortable, and I'm going to make sure that my life is good in the future, I ain't going to basically ego trip like a man. Because now I want to shit on the guy that made 300 million. I mean, 3 million. Because if I make 3 million, you make 3 million. That ain't gonna sit well with my ego. Because I gotta outdo you. So now I'm gonna shoot for 30 million. So I'm gonna keep going. You know, and so and it's not a downer on the women because women out here doing it on the average.
Oh, we always.
But when you start talking about how that look, that's basically men. That's pretty much.
But
men.
I love hearing that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to always bring home the real what's happening, because I don't want people to see when they look on Instagram and get discouraged and feel like they're not doing enough because they see these big numbers. So when you come in here, you know, you're a tax expert, you've seen, you know, this over time, it's like, look, a lot of people, you're doing okay, but you probably just need more time. But it's like, it's possible, it's achievable. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the realistic of doing well is achievable. It's not something that's you astronomical. You're like, I'll never. Yeah, you don't have to, because a lot of that's a facade. You know?
And the thing is, I'm gonna say this. I know we've been saying that for the longest, but I'm gonna say this too though. We can't always blame the people who on social media out here getting it and are showing that they're getting it. We always say there's people out there, everybody's saying they getting it. Everybody's saying they getting it. That's all you see on social media. You can't believe none of that. And I'm going to tell you why. We can't hold them accountable all the time, because what we got to understand is, if we've been sold on you got to be doing well for me to do business with you, then what the hell I'm going to show you? Because I ain't going to show you my Ford Escort if I'm trying to basically get you as clients. I'm not going to show those type of things, because again, you're not going to do business with me. So sometimes people are out there doing that because society. So I tell people, look at yourself. Look at yourself and why people are doing that. Because realistically, you already know if somebody's looking like they not doing it, you ain't going to do business with them.
That's a fact.
So society has created that. So most of us are basically victims of that. As much as I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I always say, I'm scared to not know who you really are. So I'm going to give you the same respect I see differently. Because I'm not going to say, well, look how this cat dressed. But that might be the $1 million dude. You know, and so most people, but I still get caught up in that sometimes. I still get caught up, somebody run into my office and I see what they pull up in. They might not get the same respect as far as they got it. You know, I ain't going to talk to you no differently. I ain't going to basically sell you something no differently. But in my mind, I'm going to say, well, oh yeah. As opposed to the cat who pull up in the Bentley.
Yeah, you got your way. But like,
the cat that put up in the...
don't look right, but maybe we can...
but I'm going to give the cat in the Bentley the benefit of the doubt.
Right, gotcha.
So again, in my mind, we didn't already basically made him post his Bentley now, because he see that he ain't gonna get the same respect if he don't post the Bentley. If I don't post me standing by the jet, you know, even though like that's a photo op, you know. So how can I tell you about making millions if I basically, you know, if I'm showing myself, boy, this TSA line 3 hours, you know. So how can I do business? Like, oh, man, you standing in line for 3 hours? Like, you know, you don't have pre-check, and you want me to basically buy your $5,000 course? Course? Like, no, I'm not buying your course because you ain't doing it. But if I make you think I'm doing it, I gotta get that. And I say it all day, because if you look at my numbers, and you, as far as Instagram, and you look at some of the people that I know and I follow their numbers, I always say numbers can't touch my numbers. And when I say that, I mean dollar numbers. Because I already know. So I don't get caught up in that because I got over 5,000 people follow me on Instagram. But I probably got 5,000 ways to make $5,000.
Fact.
You know, and so that's why I don't get caught up in that. And we haven't, as a people, haven't been able to decipher it. But it comes with experience. You're talking about somebody that got over 30 years of entrepreneurial experience that sit down with thousands of people a year. But also on top of that, to me, I'm not easily impressed because I've seen money since I was a youngster.
Yeah.
You know, you talking about somebody that actually seen, you know, sat down and counted, you know, $253,000, $300,000 in his teens. You talking about somebody in their 20s that's seen $500,000 to $1 million, and then as I grow, I've seen it multiple times.
Talk that shit, Rich.
I manifest. So to me, it's not that impressive.
Yeah.
The average person haven't seen that, so it's going to be impressive, and I want that. That's how I want that. So he's doing it. I'm gonna follow him. So it ain't the person behind it all the time. It's society. So I always tell people, check yourself. You know, why are people doing this? Because you really not going to be impressed with people if they showed you something different.
That's a fact.
Damn, man, that's a gem. All right. And that is how you get rich, by listening to Rich Boy.
Oh, yeah. Grind, baby.
He just happens to have the logo here as I'm saying this. All right, but Black Men and Cigar Podcast. Rich, we appreciate you coming on for sure.
Where they gonna follow you at, Migo?
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Fearless Black Men. At Fearless Black Men on Instagram.
Hey, y'all can follow me on IG at bensocial.distancing. And y'all
go to our YouTube. Please go to our YouTube. Subscribe. Share. YouTube Black Men and Cigars Podcast on YouTube.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all, fellas, man. It's been lovely, beautiful. I love this, man.
Yes, sir. We out here.
Yeah.